Okay, 8:15. Schwa. We're manifesting. Fail portrayal. We are not manifesting the very large yawn I suddenly felt like I wanted to make there. Okay. Hey, we're a little late, and we're back on fail portrayal, even though I technically tweeted we were originally planning on doing cube tonight, but this stuff's a little weird. Hi. Hey, we're late. I'm late. The rest of these guys were not late. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Loth is late because he's not here. Axe was perfectly on time for whatever normal thing we're doing.
I just have a cutoff period, but that's a taller thing.
We will figure it out, and honestly, with just you and me here, it probably will not take over long. There are less Synchrons than there are Blue Eyes, thankfully. But yeah, originally I planned to shoot a cube today, but Vesper had to take a rain check for life stuff, and like I said, I don't know. I don't know where Loth is. He's at work, or he's asleep because he was at work. Or he's been hit by a cyclone and he doesn't have power. I don't know. I don't know right now. So it makes the scheduling a little complicated sometimes. But with only a couple of people, I decided to pivot back to Synchron. And you're wondering, oh, Synchron, that seems like a big deal. Why would you pick that? It seems like a major anime archetype to go for. Well, as I titled in the description of this stream, hey, do y'all remember that Synchron had a structure deck in 2015?
Yeah.
It was Synchron Extreme, it was called. So yeah, Synchron and Synchro Warrior, which we will be talking about the directly related warriors. Some of them I don't know for sure if we'll be hitting, because I did kind of have to rush this together in the last hour. Because also we're late because I was completely jammed up today writing the script for the Tiamat Wanted. Don't get too excited yet. It's not recorded yet, because the time period where I would have had the ability to record it is right now. Literally, I stopped writing. I finished writing the script, and then I ate dinner, and now we're here. Like, there was maybe 15 minutes of time where I actually wrote down the list of all the cards we're covering tonight. And set up the stream and stuff. So, like, we're a little compacted on time. I'm still very busy. This probably means I'll be very busy tomorrow, which does mean that I will probably not have enough time doing 14 to try and recontabulate my OBS for 720. I know where that setting is now. I know how to set it. But when you shrink the... Just to let everybody know, I did actually double-check this. When you shrink the canvas size in OBS, that also, like, rearranges my physical, I guess, UI, I want to call it, like, how my windows are scaled and where they're placed. So to make that work, that means I would have to, like, resize and reallocate all my windows and sub-windows, like my chat box, etc. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to figure that out tomorrow either, because I have to record and edit a Wanted and post it, hopefully, to be on time. So we'll see. Luckily, right now, knock on wood, while there is a little bit of delay, we're only running at about 10%-ish dropped frames. So you may get a couple of visual hiccups if that just so happens to occur when I switch a video. But we'll try it out. At the very least, I know what I'm doing. It's just, like I said, we're going to be a little pressed for time in the upcoming days. And pressed for other things, maybe. Like budget. Hi, support us on Patreon. I'm pretty sure... I'll double-check right now. But I'm pretty sure that this will work out because our next week's episode should be the poll. And I think last I checked... Resonator was winning.
Oh, cool.
Okay, no. I was wrong. Maybe some people moved their votes around. Fortune Fairies won with 3. Resonator is kind of tied with everybody up, but wow, Fortune Lady's really carried away there. That's still a related archetype, and Axe, if you want to keep in Resonator, I bet that'll win next month. I feel like I know the currents of how the votes go. I was surprised. I thought it was definitely in the lead earlier, but I guess the votes evened out.
I don't really have an idea for that one right now.
That's okay. It's fine.
Resonator in red's kind of big.
It's pretty robust. But yeah, no. So they, despite the fact that, by the way, once again, 2015, like after the Pendulum incursion, after we developed Pendulum, we decided to make a structure deck for Synchrons.
As you do.
Synchro Summoning obviously had already existed for a long time, and there were a couple of starter decks, I believe, that were either Yusei or just Synchro Warrior in general themed. So, like, they had some stuff to build on. But yeah, they decided to release a structure deck, which was themed around Synchrons. So, because we're rushing just a tiny bit, there are a couple of caveats. While I am going to put Junk Synchron and Junk Warrior is in fact the thumbnail, in here, the other Junk guys like Archer and Berserker, I did not include, along with a couple of the like designated Junk spell traps.
We can save that. We can probably save Junk and Scrap for another thing.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I don't think we've done Scrap. I'll keep that one in mind because those guys have some fun aesthetics.
There's like Scrap has a whole thing, but I feel like Scrap and Junk can kind of go together a little bit.
Definitely aesthetically, it's funny because I don't think mechanically the archetypes are like linked at all. Other than there's the funny bridging of Scrap Iron traps, which are definitely Yusei related. But there may be some other overlap I don't know about. But definitely you would run them together in some decks because all the Scrap Synchros are generic and really good. So we're skipping all those extra Junk guys, but we should be able to talk about all of the cards that are named Synchron, which is many. They really decided to make that a bridge archetype. That means we will touch on a couple who are also part of other archetypes we haven't done yet, like Portrayal Oddeye Synchron, Rocket Synchron, Speedred Wing Synchron. Yes, that's a real guy. He came out this year. Literally last set was Speedred Wing Synchron. And we will talk about the warriors who are directly linked to Synchrons and the thematically linked guys, like the Stardust sub-theme, because we've already done all the Stardust Dragons. I don't have, like, the full Fleur shit in here, but I do have Fleur Synchron and Chevalier de Fleur, and then Necro Synchron. So we've got a variety of stuff. Yeah, I was thinking Resonator should pull ahead, like I said, but it turns out I was wrong. It's okay, I've been sick and fucking busy. That said, you can still consider supporting us on Patreon, sending us your super chats. Yeah, Fleur Synchron and Tiburon. Technically, Barome probably should go in this episode, but there's so many of these cards, guys, already, without actually doing like some of the bridging stuff. So we're starting late. I'm being a little lean and mean, and we can come back later and revisit some of this stuff. First, real quick, we're not actually going to talk about the Junk Boy yet. Let's mention one of the early support cards that does kind of tie this all together. Because this archetype has always had basically always had a Searcher. And has always strongly been a like, unified archetype. Yeah, so let's see. Tuning was first released in Star Strike Blast, so that was like a couple years after Junk Synchron. But to put this in perspective, this is 2010, so over 15 years, this deck has been codified as a thing. They have actually, like, collated it. So the text on the spell card Tuning. Okay, Lost saying he slept in. Martha's reminding us we've never done Scrap. Thank you. Sorry, I tabbed over to the Discord for a second because I have it muted because people are talking about upcoming Tiamat and Draco banners. So I don't want...
If it happens tonight, I'm kind of floored, but Oh, here we go.
Well, one, I'm hoping it's not tonight because the video's not done. Also, logically, I don't quite think it sounds right because like people are saying the 27th is the possible start date based on when the social media campaign ends. So, and that's the 27th Pacific time. And since we've realigned whatchamacallit, DST, that should mean that if it's exactly 1 week before, that should be tomorrow night at midnight, not this night at midnight. But it's hard to tell sometimes with how the FGO release is balanced. Anyway, Tuningu is a very simple card. I have pulled up the original artwork, which is neat, but very generic, which is funny because it is an archetype searcher. And the alt art, which is very much not generic. Because it's actually got, you know, the junk Synchron boy right there. But yeah, for some reason the original card art shows Spirit of the Harp tuning her harp. It's weird. It's a weird one.
I always wonder if like it looks junk Synchron. This whole thing meant to be. How do I put it? Is it meant to be like an old, like a really old style mechanic?
Yeah, I assume that's what he's got going on for him. We'll get a detailed look at his normal card art in a second. But yeah, he's called, Junk Synchron. He does have an engine on his back. That's what we see in the tuning artwork of the alt art. So there's a lot of the sub themes, with speed and stuff. Yeah, this tuning. Anyway, I was gonna say earlier. Sorry, we got distracted by talking about the team map banner. The effect text for tuning is very simple. Add a Synchron tuner from your deck to your hand. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So it is a search spell. It adds any Synchron tuner, which I do believe all of these Synchron monsters are tuners. That's kind of their defining feature. And you may think to yourself that sending the top card of your deck to your graveyard is a demerit. It's a cost. First of all, it's not literally a cost because that's an and then, so you have to add the Synchron to send. But sending the top card is actually intentional because of the effect of Junk Warrior. We're going to talk, Junk Synchron. Sorry, we're going to talk about it in a second. And just in general, a lot of the early synchro plays were not built around the idea that you would be like special summoning multiple guys from your hand. There are some ways to do that. Quick Draw was also pretty early in the Synchron cycle. But a decent amount of cards also fetched monsters from graveyard to set up synchro plays. Or some tuners back in the day were designed with battle protection in mind. Like, think about Krebons, or Psychic Commander type stuff. Like, there were multiple ways to set up a tuner and a non-tuner. So pitching the top card of your graveyard was not a detriment, especially, like I said, technically a couple of years into the process. So this, like I said, this deck has, for our purposes anyway, basically always been unified with a style. A Synchron is a tuna that you can search. It is important to say, because I don't think they had Synchron spell traps yet, but there are a couple of spell traps related to the archetype besides tuning and so on. I think it's important that they did say like Synchron tuner. They could have probably just said Synchron monster. Like I said, I don't think there's any main deck Synchrons. Actually, no, there's like Explorer and eventually what's his name? Carrier? Yeah, Carrier was way later. He was in the structure deck, actually. So, like, they did have a couple of non-tuner main deck monsters that they added. So, it's a decent restriction. It's not really relevant these days. Like, most of your, your Synchrons that you're going to care about are tuners. But there are actually a couple. So, it is a worthwhile descriptive fire. Anyway, here he is. Here's the original Junk Synchron. He's in quite a lot of cards. Like he's in a lot of arts out there. Fun trivia fact for you. Like I said, we're not talking about all those different Junk Warriors, but since they released Junk Berserker, who was the last of them, Junk Synchron is the most called for tuner by name, tied with Gen X Controller. But like X brought up, I think he does kind of have like an old school mechanic or pit crew kind of vibes. He also literally is a little robot boy built out of an engine. Like he's got the engine block on his back. Yeah. He's got a pull cord on his front there. He's just a cute classic little robot. He's got some little nerd glasses. He's having fun. I do like his kind of color comparison, the bright orange, and then, you know, the whites and silvers, a little bit of green. He's chilling. And funnily enough, I'm not exactly sure what they were going for with this, but some of it makes sense. Anyway, Junk Synchron is a Dark Warrior, level 3. He's a tuna, 1300 attack, 500 defense. Very early on in the tuner cycle, so, you know, kind of showing you the room of, like, what we can expect here. And Junk Synchron's effect is very simple. When this card is normal summoned, target one level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. So, as I said, he fetches a guy from graveyard, and presumably you sync. And it's level 2 or lower because that goes into the guy we're going to talk about in a second. But anything else to say about just the general vibes of the Junk Synchron? I'll take that as a no. Anybody in chat? I think I see him. Oh, that's a good point. I tried saying, you know, Stardust is Yusei's ace, and I will say, Junk Synchron himself, not real good at making Stardust. You gotta do some fucking work for that. But yes, I think that it's, you know, meant to be similar, that, like, Stardust is Yusei's most powerful monster, for a while anyway, and is, you know, got a lot of the utility, but sorry, I just realized Junk Synchron's a little high on my canvas. Let me scooch him down a little so he's not overlapping the text. But the Junk Synchron into Junk Warrior combo is supposed to be more thematically appropriate. I would argue it's kind of similar, though obviously I think in terms of thematics, 5Ds is better about this, but I would say it's kind of similar to how Joey Wheeler talks about, like, the card that he thinks best represents him is the Flame Swordsman, but obviously he becomes known probably more so for playing Red Eyes, especially in the anime. It's, you know, themes and stuff. Now let's grab Junk Warrior, since we mentioned him. We actually get to look at 2, because there's an alt art, which is in Master Duel, much like the tuning alt art. Oh, and let me know how the music audio bounce sounds, chat. I think I bumped my desktop audio, like, capture very slightly, but tuned the music down a little bit. So hopefully it's, like, the music levels are lower than me and lower than Axe speaking. And maybe Loft. I don't know.
Sorry.
That's fine. Come on, Loft, for sleeping in. And probably stuffing his face full of breakfast. Yeah, we got an action shot for our alt art.
It's
doing
cool.
his signature attack. Yeah.
There's some things I can say, but they wouldn't make any sense to you, so I just won't.
I mean, you can say it to the people at home; they might get it.
Uh, a lot of Junk Warrior kind of is actually translates to an odd thing with Hibiki Tachibana of Symphogear fame, voiced by Oyuki. Ironic, there's a lot of similarities between them because the same thing is that even the guy who did the third season of Symphogear actually is the same person that was supposed to do the Synchro arc, was the director for the Synchro arc of Arc V. He left to go work on that show. GX is pretty. The third season of that show was pretty good. So,
that's funny.
Some of the actual like writing discrepancies because the main director left to work on something for like 6 months.
As it happens. Honestly, I think this is partly why, even though there are longer breaks involved, I think this is why a lot of anime series transition to just doing the 13-episode core these days. Maybe back to back for 24 if you're lucky, because that it makes scheduling a lot easier.
Oh, it's one of the ones that you get the big one. It's not really big ones anymore that new.
Well, yeah, but I think that's because it's like not sustainable in the current environment, because there's only so many. There are only so many anime studios who only, like have so many people working, because quite frankly, at an entry level, jumping into the anime industry in Japan probably isn't that appealing of a career prospect. The pay is still not super good.
I should also mention that most Yu-Gi-Oh series went for hundreds of episodes, which is it's not a thing anymore most of the day. I feel like One Piece is the only one that does it nowadays.
Rush Rush and Go Rush are long, but even then, I think the original Rush capped at like the 52.
They split it 2 series. They split it 2 series.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like they did. The original Rush was like 52, and I think they're going for another 50 something with Go Rush. It seems like
they're making it more focused. Which is probably for the best.
They did what we would perceive as a big buy. Like they
also,
bought
I did not know
a lot
this.
of episodes.
Also, I did not know this at all, but it turns out that Rush the anime is actually dubbed and marketed on like Disney XD, which means it's literally a game you cannot play. It's available.
Yeah. Actually, there was some going back and forth with the Rush dub license, but I think they did hammer that out a year or 2 ago. I do not know if we've got there's a license to localize Go Rush, but yes, the original Rush anime. I mean, they produced the game. Also, sorry, I just tabbed back over to. Oop, my mic. I'm sorry. I tabbed back over to chat, and there's Sacred yelling.
Also, bro,
I knew Axe was gonna say that.
Also, bro, I don't, bro. Good to know you're good at outing yourself that you're here. Also, man, it's literally, I think the same. I think at least a majority of the staff members that worked with King Records for Symphogear worked on Arc V. I think there's literally you could probably find a bunch of same names on the actual animators.
Well, I mean, remember that originally Arc 5 was not, not 5Ds. They were.
No, I said Arc 5.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I know, but I'm saying same directors.
Junk Warrior did not appear in Arc 5 because the U protagonist.
No,
it was there.
No, it was They had Red Archfiends on and Crow, whatever. But hi Marv.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
the point is, I think a lot. I have to go double check, but I think a lot of the same staff were in this equal production.
Yeah, I was just checking because you were saying about Rush and Go Rush.
Oh yeah, you watching that? Yeah.
With Rush, it's about 92 episodes for Rush, and Go Rush is going to be ending around, I think, 151 episodes.
God, that's crazy for an anime these days.
And Rush had a whole bunch of issues with, I think, well, not production issues, but I think because of, COVID or something. So they had to end earlier. So it would have probably gone on longer. But I think Go Rush is also in sort of rushed production way, because I don't know how they're going to wrap up everything in just, I think, 12 more episodes.
That's also crazy because there are many anime that only get 12 episodes. They had 150. They didn't know what they were doing.
Because the last 12 episodes are them in the past, face off against Otas again.
Thank you for fact checking me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought Rush was. I mean, Rush is shorter than, especially the original Rush, like we said, because they cut some episodes. But that's shorter than Yu-Gi-Oh usually is. But like I said, that's crazy for these days.
Yeah, but Go Rush is matching. I think 5Ds at least in terms of episode length, but it's not matching like GX or the original Yu-Gi-Oh, which was I think 224 episodes and 181 for GX and 224 for the original. Anyhow, I'll join in on the Synchron stuff.
Alrighty, so Junk Warrior, the man, the myth, the legend. Like his look, he's purple, which I assume is to be a color contrast to Junk Synchron being orange. He's got a cool punch. He's kind of a jet plane now. I'm not sure exactly why we wanted to make that jump, but he's got wings, he's got intakes, he's got inline skates for some reason. I guess so he can go fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with Junk Warrior, that second shot's directly an anime shot.
Yep.
I think it's from the very first episode.
I would
where
assume
he just
so.
faces off against the guy who has the same name from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 and Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever. GX. Trudge. Just somehow he's the guy who connects all the anime.
Love the scarf, by the way, on Warrior, Junk Warrior. Chat, do not worry. It's 8:41 p.m. and I've been working all day. I will definitely not accidentally flip Synchron and Warrior ever again. It will never happen. Trust me. Trust.
Oh, also another thing. Junk Warrior is definitely going to jail. He has those brass knuckles.
Does have brass knuckles? Love his scarf and
knuckles.
the glasses that were on Junk Synchron become kind of like pilot's goggles. It's cool. In case you guys didn't know at home, which I expect most people did, but Junk Warrior was one of the first Synchro monsters ever printed. Not the first, because it was in the TCG anyway, released at the exact same time as Gaia Knight and Colossal Fighter. But was released as a common, as a normal card in the 09 starter deck. So all pretty string out there.
And
I mean, Axe, I will say this. I just tabbed over to the trivia page.
Yeah.
It does the literal last bullet point, unless you added this now.
I've never done. I don't edit.
I know. It says Signature Tech Scrap Fist was directly homaged in the first episode of Senki's Extra Symphogear G.
Yeah, because
using an effect that looks exactly like the stock footage, and does say that the
one of Hibiki's iterations of her fist weapon literally just looks like the scrap fist.
Okay, so that's because, funnily enough, you were talking about there was overlap in staff with Arc 5, but
and
Tatsumi
I think
also was the director of 5Ds. Yes.
Oh, he also was the director of 5Ds. Okay,
yes, they were credited as the directors of 5Ds.
yes.
That explains why they came back for Arc V and then left.
Yeah.
Because
there's
they cared
that
more about
thing,
the other
which
thing.
is funny.
Also, Ono was was a storyboard artist and a director on several episodes of the original Duel Monsters series as well.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Yeah,
considering how
Go ahead.
Mark.
But that's what the whole thing is like. The tag name of Junk Warrior Scrap Fist.
Ironically, that's funny because like Symphogear, or at least this first season of Symphogear,
So
it has a lot of
makes
just
more sense.
it has a lot of people just like lose their minds from horribly fucked up experiences, or just have like very dark faces and shit like that. I have to go dig it up, but like so like honestly like it makes me to like old Yu-Gi-Oh kind of translates pretty well. It has the same kind of like melodramatic vibe, but like in a way where it's not overdoing it.
I do want to say that apparently Ono has answered a lot of questions about 5Ds, and does say that the guy who just got a card, the Earthbound Immortal Red Nova, who was the big guy, just made that guy a card recently. what he based his appearance on depictions of Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror. Chat, go ahead and pop off on that one.
I mean, that tracks.
And there's a few more other stuff that we don't need to get into because we do not necessarily need to be talking about 5D's trivia because we'll be here for a while. But yeah, Junk Warrior, one of the first synchros, showed up in the first episode. Another Dark Warrior, level 5, 2300 attack, 1300 defense. So by default, for a level 5, especially considering this is an extra deck monster that's, 2 mats, because it is Junk Synchron plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters, seems a little low, but it does read, if this card is Synchro Summoned, gains attack equal to the total attack of all level 2 or lower monsters you currently control. Again, a little awkward because it's currently control, which obviously with Junk Synchron, you're summoning back a guy.
Yeah.
But you're presumably using that for materials because Junk Synchron is 3, Junk Warrior is 5 maths. But still, I think does kind of speak to what Yusei's character is supposed to be about and kind of the themes of the 5D's anime, in that it's a bunch of little guys who band together to make a bigger guy who is better.
Yeah. It's all about Yusei's like, I'm not throwing away my friends, pretty much.
So you do actually have, reason to keep around some little guys, because that will make Junk Warrior punch over the normal attack you would assume for a level 5 synchro. Though a lot of 5 synchros are utilitarian, so there's a lot of like oddball numbers in there. Catastor is like 21, I want to say, off the top of my head. But obviously, Catastor's attack stat doesn't matter because what you're actually doing is, using its effect.
Yeah. Catastor. Oh, yeah. Only 100 off, but it doesn't really matter. 100 attack points.
Oh, is it 22? That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's close. I'm like, I know it's weaker than Junk Warrior for sure.
I know how, what was David using DNA surgery and that. That was
DNA transplant, I think, for attributes.
Yeah, DNA transplant for attributes plus that just to make it impossible to get over.
Catastor's an annoying little guy. Anyway, speaking of annoying little guys, though honestly his synchro form is more, the actual synchro monster is more annoying. Drill Synchron.
Drill. Oh yes, this is the useless one.
This guy, which is funny because Drill Warrior's actually like a cornerstone of a lot of meta decks. But yeah, Drill Synchron here is a weird little guy, and I think chat and people on the panel, you can instantly realize this deck was not really made with a cohesive art theme. A lot of the early Synchrons are just going to be weird little guys that the art team at the anime drew up, is how we should think of them. Because this isn't anything like Junk Synchron. In fact, it's literally, other than the fact that it's also a level 3 tuner, absolutely nothing like that. He's a machine earth tuner with like 800 attack. So, doing things. I do love the aesthetics. This is very what I want to call Mega Man core. This is definitely like a weird little guy you'd fight in a classic Mega Man or X stage, or like a weird little drill virus in Battle Network, of which there were several drill enemy viruses in Battle Network. Like he's just a little guy. He's got little treads. He's got lots of drills. He's got huge eyeballs, which make him kind of cute, kind of ugly cute. I'll double check the appearances tab. The Wikipedia is being a little slow in my loading, but we'll see.
Yeah. I tried checking top decks and it decided to crash for some reason.
No, it may have showed up in the manga first. I don't know when they actually were doing the 5D's manga, because the Drill Synchro doesn't appear in the anime until like episode 72. Once again, talking about like how long Yu-Gi-Oh series used to be, so like it's a much later edition. But
okay, so this is apparently a fan thing. Drill Synchron and Drill Warrior are both fan-made cards.
Okay, so both of them were fan submissions. All right, yes, I knew that about Drill Warrior, but I wasn't sure about Synchron. Okay, so they did a contest. They've done that before. That kind of, again, explains probably why the design is a little out there, but it still kind of rolls with our context. And I think it's important that early on, I guess Konami, like, establishes the rules that Synchron can be anything, you know? This is an Earth machine. You know, the last guy was a Dark Warrior, so a Synchron can be anything, which leaves us with some room for some later cards we're going to see. Jill Synchron's effect is if a Warrior-type monster you control attacks a defense position monster, it does piercing. Once per turn, if you do battle damage with this effect, you can draw a card. Probably a little slow for 2010 when this actually got printed, especially because it itself is not a Warrior. But, you know, they're trying. Alright. I'm going to pull up the card art for Drill Warrior, and then I'm going to step away for a second. But I will leave you and chat with the warrior who drills.
Alright, this one carries on turn. Well, kind of junk warrior vibes, just with brown changes up things. And having scarf being yellow instead of, what was it, blue on junk warrior? No, white. Drill warrior. Do love the Wait, is it?
I don't know why.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, if it's manga, it makes more sense because like the Yu-Gi-Oh mangas are like such different takes on the stories. They're literally like very much like AU ideas, like the same characters, give or take.
Yeah, I know with the 5Ds manga, it was just pretty much, oh, you have this thing called speed, which you have to go through and do speed things, and you have.
There's also a whole thing with there isn't a second part. That they just go to Bishop Balkan and the Crimson Dragon is like a guard, and there's this whole thing with a skeleton knight and shit, all like that.
Yeah. Also, this card's design, if those drill thing parts of his legs start up, they'll be drilling into his legs.
I think those are part of his legs. But yeah, this just feels like in my mind the alternative concept to Junk Warrior, like this just feels like the other end of the tech tree.
Yep, I think so. Of course, the Wikipedia trivia says it seems to be based on current logon. At least this is not like some monster cards have too many drills on them. I can name in certain other animes.
Drills.
Like Body Fight.
Okay, I'm back. I see Chad has already done a Gurren Lagann reference. Good, great. Thank you. Yeah, Drill Warrior's design is pretty conservative. He's got some drills. He's got like 5 drills, but you know they make sense. And also, honestly, his leg drills are like the other way around, so it's not a huge concern.
Yeah.
So you know he's trying. It makes sense based on Drill Synchron's effect, but I find it very funny. So, Drill Warrior is an Earth Warrior. We switched back. This is a man, as I like to joke whenever I see a warrior.
Let's see here.
So he's an Earth. What are y'all? Level 6.
Yeah.
to stifle a yawn there. 2,400 attack, 2k defense. Again, maybe a little low for his Sync 6, but he's trying. Requires drill Synchron and one or more non-tuners. Once per turn during your main phase 1, you can have this card's attack. If it does, you can attack directly. Once per turn, you can discard a card. If you do, banish this card until during your next standby phase. Especially some of this card banished by the effect.
So just like save it for later.
Yeah. And then add one monster from your graveyard to your hand. So Drill Warrior has some pretty fun effects. The attacking directly actually could matter in a couple of matchups, and the kind of like matter transporter, I guess, effect I want to say, like, did actually come up. There are some historic Yu-Gi-Oh formats, some Time Wizard formats where Drill Warrior is actually like a guy people play. He's doing some funny things.
Like Edison, I think. Or Edison.
Sure, I accidentally left caps lock on. It's very funny because I see that you tried to capitalize Grand Neos. It's okay, I've done that before. But yeah, it is a little like that.
Yeah. Just to label off the other cards that were in the drawing contest for this time. The one with Drill Synchron, which I already mentioned. This guy, then Splendid Rose, Bird of Roses, Mortronic Vacuumman, and Chaos Keen Archfiend.
Interesting.
Which I did not know that at all. I knew about Bird of Roses, but not Splendid Rose. This guy is solid. Gets solid effect, bounce, and then you can use him for synchro stuff later.
Yep, you can get guys back. He can direct attack, which can get around monsters that are like annoying.
And
So
hey,
like in
if
historical
you're-
formats, he has an opportunity. Now we're gonna talk about a guy who I don't really know if he ever saw play. I think we tried to work him into some of our decks when we were doing Prog, and he's been printed a few times. But it's Hyper Synchron. Which technically predates Drill Warrior, but these are all kind of the same cluster of guys from like 09-ish, 010-ish. 010, Jesus.
Yeah. What? Oh, he has an errata? Oh.
It'll just
Oh,
make
it's
you
just I was just changing the remove from play to banish. Okay.
What were you gonna say, Axe?
He's got this. I guess a lot of the base Synchrons have like this look of being like small toys or like things you could take apart to put on top of other things. It's like take like Speed Warrior and this guy, and you put like his bits on, put on the other guy's bits, and you combine to make a bigger thing.
Yes, they are kind of like chibified robots who do kind of look a little disassemblable. Not all of them look toyetic. I do think that with his like this kind of bright blue Hypersynchron is kind of toyetic.
I was more thinking it's like its face, its head, and its chest piece looks like it's removable.
Yeah. I mean, well, his arms and legs definitely have ball socket joints too. You can kind of see some of the similarities to Junk as well because he's got like a big turbine backpack, but also he's got robot elf ears for some reason, or possibly dragon ears for reasons we'll talk about in a second. So there's a couple of oddball elements in here.
Yeah, oddball elements, but it seems very solid design. Blue, yellow, nothing too flashy, but it also has this look in his eye and what and closed fist, and the tag is like, you're next.
He looks like a tough guy. Oh, that makes sense, because guess what? This is the strongest attack Synchron, I think, to this date. It's a tie. Because this is a light machine tuna. Level 4. This is a level 4 tuna, which, as many of you know, back in the day, was a real big fucking deal to actually get a level 4 tuner. He's only got 1,600 attack and 800 defense. But obviously, you know, that's going to be compensated by being a level 4 tuner. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard for the Synchro Summon of a Dragon-type monster, that monster gains 800 attack, but banish that face-up monster during the end phase. So, this is like the original, like, you know, Tenpai-ass OTK tool. It's a level 4 tuner, which means there's a variety of 7 and 8 dragons you can make.
Yeah.
And you could get the benefit of getting 800 attack, but then you to banish yourself, so you got to watch out for that.
Yep. I think, right, this card was only used 2 times in an anime, and then the rest of the time was either revealed by another card or was like quick draw or shooting star dragon.
Yeah. Hey, Konami, you could figure out how to do that very easily, because obviously, in case you can't tell, this guy's for a dragon type. There's no hyper warrior who corresponds to him.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that, because actually I forgot. I don't think I have Lightning Warrior in here, because even though that is a, like, Synchro Warrior guy, he's not tied to one of the Synchrons.
It's just like if I remember correctly, it's generic.
Yeah. So, like, maybe there's supposed to be some overlap thematically there, but obviously, like, Hyper Synchron's supposed to go into... I presume in the anime, I forgot to double-check the appearance tab, but I presume that it was used so that Stardust could, deal with the fact that normally it only has 2,500 attack.
Right. Maybe Hyper Synchron could.
Yeah, Charlotte literally saying this is just so Stardust can attack over RDA. Maybe not literally that, but in effect that, yes. So
yeah, it was used against Jack Atlas for that.
Yeah.
And then Jack just does tuner capture and revive this card for himself.
Makes sense. No, there's a lot going on there. So yeah, no. It's definitely one of those moments of like, this is for like a specific anime thing, and it doesn't really do anything. You could do a hyper warrior, that could be cute. But let's move on to a guy who does have a little bit more common appearances. Nitro Synchron.
Right, Nitro. This. Every time I look at this, I just think of like, oh, this is a clown Synchron.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. His face is so weird. I don't know why they did that. They've given him a really weird face. I think it's supposed to be like a Kabuki character type face with like the because you can see the outlines of kind of where his ears and chin are supposed to go.
When did this?
But he's so weird. He's such a weird little guy.
I'm trying to look up the anime. Like, oh yeah, it's still the same.
He's so like he's such like a thing you'd only see as like a weird like quirky sidekick in like an anime. Like I just feel like he's
just such a weird little guy. I mean, he's a can of nitrous, chat, in case you can't tell. He's supposed to produce your acceleration. This is a fire machine. By the way, there is a Synchron of every attribute except Divine, obviously. And yes, that means there is a water one. We will talk about it later. There's no water-type Synchro Warrior yet, but like I said, the Synchrons have covered all the attributes.
Okay.
So, like, Nitro has some merits, but also some weirdness to it. Like I said, it's a fire machine tuner. Level 2, so it's a level 2 tuner, so we're expanding our level range here. 300 attack, 100 defense. Awful stats, arguably. But if this card is sent to the graveyard for the Synchro summon of a Nitro Synchro monster, of which there's only one, there's just Nitro Warrior, draw a card.
Right.
Again, this is a very early card. Yeah, this was Duelist Genesis. So this was the same starting set that Synchros were introduced as a booster. This was right after the structure deck that had, like, Gaia, Junk Warrior, and Colossal Fighter in it. So, like, we're very early in, like, talking about what tuners can do. This guy can, when you use this guy to make his iconic Synchro monster, who, until they printed Quick Draw, you could only make with Nitro Synchron, you draw a card? That's pretty good replacement for, like, when you're playing a card that's normally a 2-for-1. You make 2 mats to go into a Synchro,
good.
So
okay, I think there's one trivia is that this guy appeared every time that UC activated Shooting Star Dragon as one of the Synchron tuner monsters that he had. Just always. In the second part, this card was used against Tetsu Trudge when Trudge had Goyo Guardian, that other I guess Kabuki Theater sort of monster.
All right.
Which is funny.
And let's talk about his counterpart, especially because Nitro Warrior, this is literally in the trivia page, doesn't look anything like Nitro Synchron. I don't even know what this guy looks like. Similar to what they did do for Drill Warrior that I mentioned before, this is a Fire Warrior now, so it's become something humanoid. But obviously not a human because he's so weird. He's got, like, Archfiend-ass horns everywhere. He's got, like, rocks for his body. But he's still got, like, exhaust tubes coming out of his head. This is such a weird little Yu-Gi-Oh guy. He's kind of green and black, too, which is completely different.
This would be Yusei's card version for Jack, pretty much. I don't know, because of art between stuff.
This is another card that, like, honestly, for the first wave of Synchros would be worth it. He's a Fire Warrior, like I said. Level 7. Is awful to make with Nitro Synchron, which is obviously the hard part, but very good for Quick Draw later. And, makes sense. But he's 2,800 attack, 1,800 defense. Nitro Synchron on one or more non-tuners. Once during each of your turns, if you activate a spell card, this card gains 1,000 attack during the next attack this turn involving this card, during damage calc only. If this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, after damage calc, target a face-up defense position monster your opponent controls, change it to attack. This card can make it a second attack the row on that monster. That's very complicated for, like, extra anime-type stuff, but again, honestly, back in the day for like 08, 09 type card design, very good. Activate a spell card. This card gains 1,000 attack and can switch a opponent's defensive position monster to attack and make a second attack. It only gets the plus 1,000, once, but presumably you're switching monsters in defense. So, like, this, I mean, honestly, this card is better than Junk Warrior. Like, this actually does stuff. And I'm fairly certain would be played a little bit more, especially once we talk about our next card, which enables a lot of these weird warrior-type guys who require specific synchrons.
Oh,
but yeah,
right.
I still don't know why Nitro Synchron or Nitro Warrior is the way he is. I also don't know why Nitro Synchron is the way he is, but, like, that at least makes sense. He's a can of nitrous, you know?
I'm just looking at this thing. Also, pinch will away, she'll break if he turns too much. Next card.
We are loading him up. Keeping our little guy aesthetic. There we go. It's not counted correctly. It's Quick Draw Synchron.
Oh yeah, Quick Draw, the card that just replaced all those other ones.
Yeah, Quick Draw is iconic for a reason.
Except for Junk, except for Junk Warrior, because that can't be made with Quick Draw.
Yeah, no, it's by design. But Quick Draw here is very iconic. Let me actually double check.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
Yes, I do.
Again, another
Roman good one.
The back end of the Wikipedia is not doing too great right now, but I'm fairly certain that technically this art is censored to make his gun more of a toy gun.
I still like it because it's like, it still feels like they're made of like the same like goofy like sidekick part, like goofy little like baton parts.
Also, I did double check. The only thing they did in the edit was they put a little thing that looks like it's made of like red plastic in the tip. The art is otherwise unchanged. So honestly, considering his kind of chibified state, I could believe that anyway. I could believe that he's got like a little laser gun or Nerf blaster.
It laser pointer. It makes a sound effect. It also matches the stoplights.
Yes, he has some. That was the thing I noticed I was gonna mention earlier. He's got a little stoplight in his chest. That's good. Kind of keeps the theme. He's quick. He's got speed lines. And these guys, do have these little like fashion touches that I don't know why they have, but are neat. Like this guy's got like a cloak and like a hat with a feather, like he's a, an old school highwayman. Junk had the. Hold it.
Sorry,
sneeze. Junk had the scarf.
Yeah. It would make sense if this was released during the Crash Town like filler arc, but it wasn't released then. It was released during the Dark Synchro arc or Dark Bound Immortal arc.
I do like that the trivia page has some fucking theory crafting. They say he's based on a projector. So the 3 lights he has are the standard RGB you would expect for a television, but could be linked to the 3 existing Synchro warriors. Even if though he can't make Junk Warrior, he still is Synchron. So that would be blue or purple for Junk Warrior, green for Nitro Warrior, and red for a guy we haven't seen yet because he starts with a T, which is Turbo.
Yeah.
There's also, a lot of other fun effects. The trivia page tries to say he's supposed to be, he has a quick draw, he's supposed to be fully cowboy themed. Now, as an American, I'm fully aware of all my cowboy themes. That's not quite a cowboy hat. He's got the jaunty flip at the side and the feather. That's a very rare detail on a cowboy hat. Also, his cowboy hat is brown, and it's not, which is realistic, but if you're doing, like, cowboy movie references, you would probably do a black or a white hat.
Right.
In case you didn't know, by the way, that's where black hat and white hat, the kind of, like, slang terms come from. That refers to old black and white westerns, so so the audience can tell who the good guys and the bad guys are.
The good old Italian western.
The classics. Anyway, Quick Draw Synchron. Oh, actually, because he is a wind machine. Again, we're talking all the attributes. I should mention before I forgot to say this, but Nitro Warrior actually has a very funny misprint. When it was printed again, it was reprinted in Hidden Arsenal, or maybe it was Dual Terminal, one of those sets. It was accidentally misprinted as a wind monster, which is very funny. Quick Draw Synchron is intended to be a wind machine. Tuna. Level 5, highest level out of any Synchron, tied with Axel Synchron, who we will see much later. He was in the structure deck. 700 attack and 1400 defense. Again, this is a thing we've mentioned before, but to recap if you haven't heard it in a while, the 5D Synchro era is when we really start to play around with levels, and it becomes, especially for tuners, less about the stats and more about what kind of Synchros you can make. So Quick Draw has bad stats because you are not intending to use this guy in a normal context. You are supposed to be synchroing with him. Because you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one monster from your hand to the graveyard. For a synchro summon, you can substitute this card for any one Synchron tuner. This card cannot be used as synchro material except for a monster that mentions a Synchron tuner. There you go. So he substitutes for any Synchron guy. He can make, obviously, Nitro and Turbo. He can make a few guys later. When Level Eater was legal, you could still use Quick Draw to make Junk Warrior, or eventually Axel Synchron, by discarding a Level Eater and then eating one of Quick Draw Synchron's levels. You cannot legally do that because Level Eater is in jail and will stay that way forever. He can literally never come out. Unless maybe you made him, like, you eroded him to be once per duel.
Yeah, or eroded him to be, like, no longer be used as link material.
That would be very... that they should do that with cards from, like, older animes that predate links. Just fucking stick cannot be used as link material on them. Or
they could just release a new card called Link Eater and just, like, and just says, screw you, links, and just...
But I think for Level Eater in particular, it would be super funny. I still don't know if Level Eater, because he's not a hard once per turn, could come off, because there are so many Synchro Climb decks these days where they can still use infinite Synchro material.
Oh, yeah, there's
like, I don't know.
They need to just set of rule. Tokens cannot be used as link material. Fuck it.
That would be a funny rule. Unfortunately, they've already made link monsters that say they can't be used for... whatchamacallit.
Oh, yeah, and one thing here for Quick Draw, they should make Quick Draw Warrior.
Yeah, actually, I said that with Hyper. Absolutely, we should make a wind synchro warrior who's quick draw warrior.
Have the
And to reverse it, just say that its materials are one Synchron tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters, just to make it funny.
Or you can make it so that quick draw secret can count as a non-tuner for it.
That would also be funny. But yeah,
Just
quick draw
like...
is iconic. Like quick draw dandy warrior type shit made the old school decks of synchro. Pitch a monster to get its monster of its send to graveyard effect, and you can make real power cards like like mostly Nitro, but also like some upcoming boys. Whoop. Lost drop.
I'm sorry, was that? Why is that so loud?
I don't know, man.
Just happens.
Sorry.
Sorry, I took him off the screen, but I realized that I haven't actually got Turbo Synchron up at all. I'm losing my mind.
Oh, right.
I'm just trying to enjoy some breakfast.
Other cute boy monster of the Synchrons. Well, tough boy. Does the anime have a looking? No. Once again.
Alright. And this is a very funny case. I wonder if this was intentional because you'll notice, chat, when he fully comes through the latency, Turbo Synchron is green. I mentioned earlier Turbo Warrior is red.
We clearly need like a turbo monster who is what Turbo Synchron is meant to sync with. That's yellow.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like, at least with some of the looks of it, it just looks very much like a Mega Man anime in some ways.
Yeah, again, this guy's very Mega Man coded.
Yeah, he does look like a Mega Man.
I'm pretty sure there are some virus enemies in one of the Battle Networks games that is very much like this, because I know that there are wheel chips and stuff you can get. Keeps with a lot of our themes, though, for the Synchrons. He's a little robot buddy. He's got a cool little headwear, because, he's got a helmet with a visor. His arms are also wheels. His feet, it's hard to tell what's going on, but he's also a car. He is a man who is a car man. And this is also a Wind Machine Tuna. He is level 1. So we have, at this point, we have levels 1 through 5 for Synchron tuners. And a variety of stuff going on. Turbo has some interesting effects. Again, this sounds like a way to, solve an anime problem, but also I think still could have some utility in the game. His effect is when this card declares an attack, change the attack target to defense position. When you take battle damage while this card is attacking, you can special summon a monster from your hand with an attack less than or equal to the damage you took. So the idea is you summon out Turbo Synchron, attack into an enemy, switch them to defense so that you don't die, and then summon out a guy whose attack will be lower than the enemy's defense because it's equal to the damage you took, but presumably will have a level that you want for synchroing later. It's cute. Not really a good strategy because it involves taking damage and attacking, which, this was an era when there was shit that could flummox you when attacking, like Scatbriar and Scarecrow.
Yeah.
But it's a cute idea we're working for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up now the warrior. The warrior that is Turbo. Which is going to be funny because, again, Turbo Warrior doesn't look anything like Turbo Synchron. Like, Junk Warrior, Junk Synchron look pretty similar. They flow. And some of the other guys we're going to talk about flow as well. Turbo, don't really. Let's just close my Twitter tab and hope Wikipedia loads a little faster.
Alright, this card.
Wow, this webpage is taking a long time to load. Which is funny, because it's like... all the rest of my stuff's working fine. The stream's not even that bogged down. There we go, Jesus. Yeah, I don't... I kind of feel like that, like I said, the turbo and nitro should be switched.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, but I'm just looking at the art both in anime and this one, and
yeah,
at least anime makes it look more like the sort of front of a truck, pretty much.
Why they give him that head though?
Because it's a pompadour.
Yeah, pompadour hat with the. I just feel like the
like
chest
a
plate
punk guy.
is like a chest truck front.
But he just looks like it sticks straight up.
Oh, look, he's
got pants, which is funny. But yeah, this guy's just a truckman.
You could just imagine this guy turned to a truck.
He's also got claw hands, which are very long, claw hands.
Yeah.
Still a warrior, by the way.
If Yusei was an RV, you would probably wrote this thing.
So, Taba Warrior is a Wind Warrior Synchro, level 6, 2500 attack, 1500 defense. Good stats for a 6. Does require Turbo Synchron. When this card declares an attack on a level 6 or higher Synchro monster, have their attack until the damage step. This card can't be targeted by the effects of level 6 or lower monsters. So,
yeah, so...
this guy is very interesting. He is 25, which is already pretty decent. He's the same attack stat as Stardust. And can beat over higher monsters. Also, I do love the trivia page straight up calls this out. I bet this is something that the team forgot about. Turbo Warrior is immune to the effect of Mech Lord Emperors because those guys are supposed to be level 1s that equip Synchro monsters. This guy can't be targeted by them. Was never used to defeat the Mech Lord Emperors.
Yeah, because at that point, all they were summoning was just the Signer Dragons, because, ooh, Signer Dragon.
I think it's also because that arc at that time was a fucking mess.
Yeah, they had some nondescript
was,
production issues on the back half of 5Ds.
Yeah, it was definitely a mess, but it had some fun aspects. By the way, the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's dub was just says, like, hey, we're not doing the Arc Cradle thing. We're just going to say, Yusei beat
yeah, that's because
the guy in his
that's because when the kids got killed.
So Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes have had some production issues in the past. Talking about like the misbalance of episodes for Arc 5, like 5D's back half, and some of the other issues. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dubs are also rife with problems from this magical saw blade will send you to the Shadow Realm type shit to just, hey, we're straight up not dubbing the last episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 3, and we are not doing the 4th season, period. So,
yeah.
As far as American kids are concerned,
yeah, 5D's dub also raced, I think, like 13
Jaden might be
episodes.
Dead. He might never have come back from the Super Poly Dimension.
So you pretty much with the 5D's dub, they raced the going backwards whole time mess up thing with some time chamber thing, and they also raced the episode where Jack gets his Red Nova Dragon. So
this is Changer Synchron. Technically, probably should have been a little earlier because this was 2010, but he's not associated with a warrior, so this guy's just a weird little guy. He does show up in a couple episodes of the anime.
That is a weird-looking guy.
He's just a little robot man. He's got a switch. You'll never guess what it's for. But he's got like little anime devil wings. He's got kind of an angry face, but he still kind of fits the conformities we've seen with a lot of Synchrons.
Oh yeah, that.
This is a Dark Machine Tuner. 0/0. If this card's sent to the graveyard for a Synchro Summon, select one monster your opponent controls, change its battle position. So honestly, a good card. Better than some of the other Synchron tuners we've already seen. He is a level 1 Dark Tuner, which was important for a lot of cards back in the day. And his effect to change one card your opponent controls battle position, very strong.
Yeah.
Stronger than you would think.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah.
So where's my Changer Warrior, Konami?
What's that? You summoned a big asshole? But with no ass?
This should just have a continuous effect, just like if your opponent special summons a monster, defense mode, bitch.
Oh, it's
Stumbling.
just stumbling on legs. Ow. Yeah, they could be him.
You just have to mix the effect. I'm like, yeah.
And if a Link monster summon, just automatically destroys it. Because freak Link monsters.
And then we got a very funny one added in the late 2010s. Formula Synchron.
Oh, right.
Yes, this one.
Based on a Formula 1 race car. This is technically the... so this should be the first... the first Synchro Tuner, or Tuner Synchro. Due to the way the TCG did this, technically TG Wonder Magician came out first. But I think Formula was much more effective. This was the first level 2 Synchro monster ever, which is the lowest level you can have a Synchro monster normally, not counting the weird fucking thing they do with Polari.
So I have never seen this guy blown up. I thought he was just a race car.
No, he's a man. He's a man car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Formula. He's literally a Formula 1 car with arms and legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he go.
Very likable card, Formula 1 card. He is the card just used for shooting Star Drain, but later on just get reborn by Sprite Elf and just go straight back into Baron de Fleur.
He's a great guy. What were you gonna say, X?
He's again another one in the lineup of just goofy little sidekicks that basically Yusei has, because they're all literally they're just machine sidekick characters, because like they all feel like not, again, they're Synchrons. It's meant to be a thing where they're basically like conceptually fused, like not actually fused, but like conceptually fused.
You know,
like
tuned together with another monster to produce something. And it's funny you say, talk about being a sidekick. The wiki does suggest that this is an upgraded form of Turbo Synchron, because as we said, Turbo's not super great. Because this guy is also a man car, and he's only level 2, so it's not like he's that much different. But this is an iconic card ever since it's been printed. A light machine synchro tuner, level 2, so this is still a level 2 tuner. It's got 200 attack and 1500 defense, which is great for a level 2 monster. It is completely generic. They did not burden this with any materials. You just need a level 1 tuner, a level 1 non-tuner, usually. When this card's Synchro Summon, draw a card. Once per chain during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, Synchro Summon using this card you control. Easy as that. Both iconic effects. Just, this is a +1 when you summon it, and then if it sticks around to your opponent's turn, you get to Synchro. Obviously, there are several cards that do that later, but still, like, very, very strong effect that we like for that.
Yeah.
Now, chat, I'm going to pull up a card, and I'm going to say its name to you, and you're going to be like, huh? And you should go, huh? But you gotta follow with me on this. You gotta follow me on this, okay? This is relevant as I post Necrolinker. Necrorinka. And like I said. And technically, this card's only relevant because Konami decided to nerf it for some ungodly reason. I guess its effects would have been too good in 2010 when it came out in Star Strike Blast. But yeah, Necrolinker. He's a skeleton with an eyeball and horns and a cool stick.
With a name like Necro and Linker, you'd think it'd be associated with something else.
I know, Loth. You think that, but unfortunately, Konami shot themselves in the foot like almost 10 years before Lynx came out. Actually, more like 6. But you know what I mean. Necrolinker is a Doc Fiend level 2, 600 attack, 0 defense. You can tribute this card to special summon a Synchron tuner in your graveyard. That Synchron tuner can't be used as Synchro material during the turn it's special summoned. So this is an awful dog shit card that was never good. Tribute itself to summon back a tuner. But in the anime, its effect was worded that it could summon back any tuner.
Yeah. This was pretty much used to resummon Formula Synchron because Yusei fucked up the Excel Synchro the first time because he did not have a clear mind.
He needed that clear mind. Been a clear mind shit. But yeah, so it's a weird one-off anime card. I mean, it's not literally a one-off. I think it came up like twice, but it's a card that's like really, really weird and one. It's a card that like not every card that's ever been in the anime needs a retrain, but like they hampered this guy in such a funny way. I think genuinely, if you did retrain this card, they can't call him Necrosynchron because that's a guy now. And then maybe when I don't remember what that guy does exactly. Maybe that guy's effects are more like what this guy was supposed to be. But like a card that can, summon a Synchron tuner out of the graveyard, even by tributing itself these days, could be good. It's a level 2, so like you could, back in the day, you could Splelf it, you could Sprite Elf it.
Oh, right. That's what Necrosynchron looks like.
Yeah, he's a weird little guy. They didn't print him until way later. We'll talk about that. But first, we have to talk about Road Synchron.
Oh, Road
So this is the guy who's basically tied with Hyper Synchron. He does actually have a warrior form we'll talk about, though. You can tell, I think, by his design, this guy's supposed to be a little beefier than some of the others. He's a little bigger, a little nastier.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
He is a road roller, duh.
And he even kind of looks like the world.
He is a yellow guy, it's true.
Yeah.
But he's a road
I
roller.
think I remember trying to make this guy work in Prague and just not being able to.
Yeah.
He's yellow, so he's got a different color scheme. We're hitting all the main points, but it's just weird. He's still got, like we said, the little sidekick energy. But he's an odd one. So this is a light machine tuner, level 4, 1600 attack, 800 defense. I think literally the exact same stats as Hyper Synchron. When you use this card as synchro material for a monster other than Road Warrior, he is not a level 4 tuner, he's a level 2 tuner. Cool, great. If this card attacks at the end of damage step, increase its level by 1 until the end of this turn. This guy's awful. This guy sucks. Obviously, for the anime, he probably had some specific utility for some plot of the week, but, like, he's... Level 4 tuners in the early days of Synchros, like the first few years, were super restricted, so this guy's not even a level 4 tuner. He's actually a level 2 tuner, like, most of the time, unless you negated him somehow. He has, like, a weird way to get around that by increasing his level by attacking, but it's only for the turn, so he can only ever be a level 5 or 3 tuner. And unfortunately, the warrior he goes into is also very awkward. I assume because at this point, Quick Draw existed and they wanted to make sure, but I've pulled up the Road Warrior. I'm very surprised they got away with that, but I guess card games are sufficiently different from movies. And technically that film is
also, like,
titled
that's a
Mad
generic...
Max, the Road Warrior. Sorry, yes, I was making a Mad Max reference.
I know.
Look at this fucker.
This guy is the most anime of all of them so far. Like,
this guy is the most Digimon Knight guy. out of all of them.
He really is. Actually, hey, funny, completely unrelated, but funny news, baseball fans, which is a joke.
What?
I don't know any baseball fans. But apparently, the Digimon TCG is going to, I guess they've already technically announced it. They're going to show a digital client in the next couple of days.
Yeah!
Yeah, so depending on how that works out, hopefully it's more of a Master Duel and less of a Magic the Gathering arena.
Yeah.
But if it's a good digital client, that's pretty cool. I've mentioned before, I've always thought the way the Digimon card game is designed is really interesting. It's just, I can't even afford paper Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, so adding another like cardboard to that that I won't play in person is rough. But a digital simulator could go a long way.
I can say about the simulator used for, I think, for vanguarding the phones or iPhones or app was just terrible.
You know what's funny, Omega?
What up?
Some dedicated fans have made their own EDOS Pro style version of the Digimon
I played
PC.
it. It's actually a decent client, yeah.
Yeah, purely just to test out decks.
Wow.
I mean, that's the thing, though, right? Like, I think MBT had a couple of videos on this that were Twitter threads, but, like, pre-Master Duel and pre-like, EDO/Omega kind of getting their shit together, there have been times where, like, there haven't been good Yu-Gi-Oh! Clients online, and people still, like, figured out shit. You can play Yu-Gi-Oh! In fucking Roblox for a reason. Also, Chad has a great point. Yeah, Road Warrior would actually, if Road Synchron was just a level 2, this would be better. So Road Warrior is a light warrior synchro level 8. 3k attack, 1500 defense, so is a bigger guy than Stardust Dragon, as big as Red Dragon Archfiend. Now, why is this guy never as popular as RDA? Because he requires Road Synchron and 2 or more non-tuner monsters. That's right, this is a triple synchro.
Yeah, I tried to make this guy work. I tried.
And guess what? He has an effect. Trishula, this guy is not. Arguably, this should still be a good effect on paper. It is a soft once per turn, special summon 1 level 2 or lower warrior or machine from your deck. So, presumably a tuner. The problem is just you have to use Road Synchron, so that means you have to go 4-2-2 or 4-3-1 and keep all those fuckers on the board. If Road Warrior actually attacks, it's like his level goes up, so it's like bad. It's a really weird case. And yes, I think they did. I think the reason why they made this 2-mat is because at this point Quick Draw would have existed. So like, yes, you could Quick Draw and then 2-1.
Yeah.
I assume Konami thought it would be too good. And honestly, it probably would be too good if you could just summon Quick Draw and then a 3 and make a 3k8 who can summon any tuner, basically, any Synchron from your deck.
Yes,
well, not any Synchron, but, you know, a lot of Synchrons or a lot of other shit. Like Doppel Warrior would be a valid guy who could be really annoying. So, like, it's probably good that this card is restricted because if not, fucking summon a level 2 warrior or machine from your deck. Can you imagine the decks this would go in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right support.
But he's like, he requires at least 3 materials, and one of them has to be Road Synchron, who's also a dogshit tuner, is like so hamstrung. This guy.
Oh yeah. Trivia does point this out. The English dub avoided the copyright issue by just calling it Road Fighter in the anime for English dub.
So they did a fucking JoJo localization. That's so cute.
Yep. Just like, no, sorry, we're not doing that.
Also coming out in... Ooh, this was in a starter deck. It was a little earlier. I thought this was a little later. Oh, okay. It was... we're about to talk about Synchron Explorer. Technically, this card was printed earlier than I thought. It was actually printed before tuning, but it was just in... Wow. It was in a starter deck. It was not reprinted until several years later. But was reprinted in the structure deck, Synchron Extreme. So yeah, this deck... Synchrons have been a semi-cohesive concept for a while. So this is Synchron Explorer. And he's another little robot guy.
Pathfinder.
Look at this guy.
It's like... Right, if I remember correctly, any of these Synchron monster just comes directly out of that hole, pretty much.
Probably.
think
So
that's the
Synchron
one
Explorer
right from
is
the
a
anime.
level 2 Earth Machine, 0 attack, 700 defense. When this card's normaled, target a Synchron in your graveyard, special summon it but negate its effects. Easiest shit in the world. Just summons a Synchron from grave on normal. It's great. It's a great card.
You know the funny, weird thing is, if you told me this was a Morphtronic, I wouldn't disbelieve it.
I mean, it's true. I don't know what appliance he morphs into, but he does kind of have that feel. The Morphtronics, which we have talked about, do also have kind of those little vibes. And don't you worry, Loth, Revolution Synchron's in this list. So there is actually a Morphtronic Synchron, kind of. There's a powerful Synchron. So, like, we've got some funny. We have some very fun elements here. But yeah, again, so this deck, by the year 2010, mind you, 15 years ago, Yu-Gi-Oh!, this deck had a Searcher and a Archetypal Reborner. Normal summon Synchron Explorer, Reborn any Synchron, which would be a tuner at this point. The only other target would be Synchron Explorer. Oh no, they're negated. How cruel. Anyway, Reborn Hyper, that could be a Sync 6. Reborn Quick Draw, that's a 7. Obviously, Reborn Junk, that is the 5 for Junk Warrior or Catastor. Like, just crazy good synergies, chat. Like, absolutely a card worth playing. There's a reason this card was reprinted several times, including in Synchron Extreme, a structure deck that came out in 2015. Synchron Explorer was reprinted in Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm, the set that they put Barone out in the year 2021. Like,
they knew what they were doing because there was a Synchron in there.
Like, genuinely, I think this guy may have been okay in 2021 Synchron decks. I don't know what your normal summon is these days if you're running a like Synchro Warrior style deck.
Yeah. Right at the time. Maybe nowadays?
No, 4 years later, I think he's finally become outdated, but still, very strong guy.
Yeah, Synchron decks.
Now our next one is another one that's just fucking weird. Wow, okay. Sorry, this is... I think just the Yu-Gi-Oh! Team just really likes references. Next we have a guy called Burai Synchron. Burai Synchron.
Is that the... Yeah, never heard about that.
This guy is not a little robot guy. This guy's a big robot guy. This guy's a fucking mecha.
I remember seeing that in, what was it, Yusei? The character pack Yusei?
Yeah, it's one of the cover cards for Duelist Pack Yusei 3.
Sorry, he just loaded in. What the fuck is this?
So this guy's name, though I do not think his appearance, is a reference to a... I don't know, its design is a reference to it. This is what he says. To a 1980s mecha anime, Galaxy Cyclone Bragier, where the Brager, or Brager, I don't actually know, uses Synchron energy to grow in size.
Ooh. Okay.
So it's not literally a Gundam, but this is a 1980s mecha guy. Sorry, I'm just thinking of the quote from Fooly Cooly. They say it's Gundam, but it's really more of a Tomino-esque thing. Who cares if it's Fooly or Cooly? Anyway, this guy's really weird. I think the only reason why he's not more well seen is because it was a fucking ulti in Duelist Pack Yusei and then was reprinted like 3 years later in a Legendary Collection at Common. So this is a card that probably missed the boat by virtue of being hard to get with only a couple printings. This is a Earth Machine Tuner, level 4. So very, very aggressive stats here. 1500 attack, 1100 defense, so a little weaker than Road Synchron and Hyper Synchron. And basically, this is a different version of Hyper Synchron's gimmick. If this card's sent to the graveyard as Synchro material until the end of this turn, the Synchro monster used as that used this card's material gets 600 attack, but its effects are negated. So it's like Hyper Synchron, but your monster doesn't blow up at the end of the turn, but it is negated, so you got to worry about that because obviously, like, say, Stardust Dragon, right? The reason why you play Stardust and not a bigger, bulkier level 8 is because it has an amazing effect. But, like, if you're just going to make something with no effect anyway, like fucking Gaia Knight or Scrap Archfiend, right? Or even making Scrap Dragon, but you don't have the materials to use its effect, why not get 600 free attack, baby? So this is a card that, like I said, this should be good on paper. But, like, I think just missed the boat. But yeah, I'm shocked. And, like, he's still close enough to the ballpark of the other Synchron designs that it's not, like, out of place. But this definitely looks much more like an actual Synchro monster than the Synchron that makes it, if you catch my drift, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a full robotman. But he's got a jet fighter on his back, so that's cool. My favorite ones are the mechs that turn into jets.
He does feel like the what is it? You know, in Super Sentai or just Power Rangers, they've got that the sixth guy who shows up and his mech joins the other one. That's what this guy feels like.
That would track. And next we have another weird fucking guy. You know this guy because this is a card that's also been useful before, but it's just Unknown Synchron. Literally, his name is the Unknown Synchron. It's him. The wiki seems to think that this guy is supposed to be like a counterpoint to Glow Up Bulb.
What?
And that could make sense because Glow Up Bulb did get banned. I mean, he's round and he's got weird little antenna things and he's got one eyeball, and I think he has the exact same stats. And has a very similar effect. But otherwise, he's just a little ball guy. Definitely looks unknown. This is a Dark Machine Tuner, level 1. So, very aggressive again. Zip, zip. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can special this card from your hand. It's a Cyber Dragon. You can only special summon Unknown Synchron once per duel this way. That said, God, we were doing it, though. This guy was a fucking common in Extreme Victory. This guy's a level 1 tuner who's a free special. If you're going second, we were all doing this shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's just such a weird little guy. Once again, Konami, print Unknown Warrior, please.
Yeah, unknown.
Yeah, let's see what this thing turns into.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Here's another
It's gonna be
guy.
something insane where, like, the ball, like, you know, the sheet metal around him just opens up.
What if Unknown Warrior is just level 2?
And because one level 1 Dark Machine Tuner wasn't enough, behold, Mono Synchron. A real card. He's a bad real card. But he's a real card.
What the freak?
Oh, sorry, I almost misread what Chris Starlight said. Like, it was a Hulk piece. I thought what the fuck?
Omega, this is just a Mega Man character.
Yeah. Also, he looks like he's gonna stamp a 1 on things.
Feel like they tore off the head of a Minotaur and stuck it on top of this thing.
Omega, this is Uno Man.
Man. Yeah, I mean, he's got 1. He's literally Mono Synchron. He's a level 1. Ow.
Wait, that's...
Oh, Mono Man.
Oh.
I don't like it.
This guy
He's
just
weird. He's very weird.
Apparently, this guy just runs in the anime.
Yeah, he shows up a couple times in the anime. I don't really know what he's going for.
134 against Jacob and then Aporia.
Yes, Unknown Synchron did see some resuming as a Hulk guy later. I don't think he ever needed to get banned because he wasn't as crazy. But anyway, Mono Synchron is a Dark Machine Tuner level 100. This guy's bad. This was definitely for some weird anime thing that they printed this guy. When using this card as synchro material, the other materials must be a level 4 or lower warrior or machine, and they are treated as level 1. This is a card that can only make, Formula Synchron unless you have a lot of guys. Sorry, I don't think some slight hiccups there. So, yeah, Mono Synchron, bad card, not good. He's a weird little guy, and I don't think we like him.
Yeah, this was only used as a Formula Synchron.
What the fuck? Sorry, I'm absolutely flabbergasted. We're moving on to the next card. I have to tell you guys what I've seen here. The next guy's Steam Synchron. He's a water. This fucking guy is a super rare in Master Duel who is only in the Master Packs. He's not even like a Legacy Pack super rare. What the fuck? What the Green God?
And
what the Ghoul Goblins?
I'm guessing this card's effect is not even worth being super rare.
No, I mean, it's a neat effect, but we'll just go ahead and say it. This is a Water Machine Tuner. Level 3, he's 600, 800. His effect is just during your opponent's main phase, you can Synchro Summon using this card effective formula. So, like, no, he's not even that good. Like, you can literally already do that with several other cards.
Yeah.
Like Hoppier and stuff. But no, yeah, this guy's just a level 3 tuner. He is a water tuner, I guess. And as Loth, I'm sure, burst out laughing because he saw what this guy looked like, he is back to the format of just a little guy.
Omega, I wasn't bursting out laughing. I was choking.
Choking. Because he is a little guy, but he's a little guy who's a train.
Yeah.
He's so upset at being a train. He's so mad about being a train.
Yeah, he looks so done.
Right. There was a train having Magma Bell in that 16 Charge Man or something.
But just when you mentioned he's in the fucking Master Packs, like what the fuck?
Yeah. But like a super rare effect? Yes, he can do that, but like I think Hopbeard Squadron is a super rare and is better because that guy like summons from your hand and then synchros.
Yeah.
I don't know what like rarity like Desert Locusts is. There's a combo
Master
you can do with
rarities
like
never make
Melfi.
any sense.
So yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. This guy's not even like in a Synchro or Synchron like secret pack either. So it's just really weird to me. But this is the only so far water type Synchron.
Desert Lucas is super.
So there's some different things going on there. It's for a first ever card that does this. This is the first card that allowed you to do this as a main deck tuner, and he is a Synchron, so he's very searchable and stuff like that. It's okay, but definitely not like what I would expect. Okay, now this one art-wise is not going to bamboozle you, but we're finally at the actual structure deck. How long have you been going?
Yeah.
Hour and a half. Hour 40. But this is Fleur Synchron.
Oh.
This is the minion character in one of those very chibi cute animes. Probably like plant magical girls fighting against the plant empire.
Hey, boss! They keep kicking my ass. I don't know why.
Yeah. This is used by Sherry LeBlanc. I think she's like the only person who ever gets to use a Synchron that's not Yusei.
Yeah. Yeah, her.
I'm not sure what kind of temperature this take is, but Sherry LeBlanc, to me, the most underused and overused character at the same time.
Yeah, she had a whole arc. And then just like, yeah, I'm just going to destroy everything because I just want my family back to screw all the kids who are living right now.
But here's one that's gonna bamboozle you. So Synchrons, right? So far, they've been warriors or machines. Well, guess what? Fleur Synchron is a light machine tuner. Light machine. Even though they did have the necro fleur, they could have been a plant. It's level 2. It's 400 attack, 200 defense. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your hand. This was an edit. The anime effect was a level 4 or lower monster. Probably a decent nerf, but yeah. Very weird fucking guy, Fleur Synchron. Being printed in like 2015, or I should say reprinted in 2015 technically. This was a promo card for Tag Force 5. Also not worth it, but they did reprint it in the structure deck. Way out of date for that reprint, but I guess they just wanted to be cohesive. But Fleur does have a warrior form, which technically follows kind of the format because it's Chevalier de Fleur, which Chevalier can mean, among other things, warrior.
Yeah. Being the same thing, but not encroaching too much on the other thing.
Yeah, close enough, but also letting you kind of like, get some of your funny stuff out there. Obviously, aesthetically, this is a card that, hey, guess what? They retrained this basically for Baron.
Yeah, I was about to say I could see Baron.
Yeah,
it's just not on the horse.
Yeah, because the horse thing was like a second sub theme. Because I'm pretty sure it was also related to Sherry was shit like Centaur Mina and some of the other weird Noble Knights shit that got printed way later.
You say she's some kind of horse girl?
Unironically, yes, I think so. But yeah, so Chevalier de Fleur is a Wind Synchro Warrior, level 8, 2700 attack, 2300 defense, Fleur Synchron plus 1 or more non-tuners. A little rough to do as an 8 with a level 2 tuner, but doable. You know. And obviously could be done with Quick Draw, because Fleur Synchron is a Synchron. And this is where all of our problems start, chat, because Chevalier de Fleur's effect is once per turn, during your turn, if your opponent activates a spell trap effect card, quick effect, negate and destroy.
There it is.
So that's why Baron has an Omni Negate. It's just they updated its effect because, honestly, while negates were not super common at this time, Chevalier de Fleur's negate is kind of bad. It's a soft once, but it's only during your turn, and it's when your opponent activates a spell trap card, not a spell trap card effect. But it would protect you from like battle tricks and some other things. So we were doing a few trickies. And then obviously, like I said, there was a another card that kind of combated with this, like Sage. Not Sage. What was the one of them? I think was like in the fucking anime.
Yeah, it was. I think it was.
It was Sage or Sorcerer, but I guess they just didn't print those guys for a long time. Oh, okay, yeah. It was Sorcerer, but in French. That was the card that was only printed in World Championship 2011 as a promo card. It did not get reprinted until Synchro Storm. But yeah, there is a little mini Fleur archetype, which also is linked to some of the generic Noble Knights stuff, and also has a couple of spell traps that are themed after. They're named Floral Knights.
Yeah.
So that may be a revisit at some form, but it's kind of like you can see the impetus, the origin of what would become Barone there.
Yeah,
but again, super inaccessible because they were fucking video game promos only for a long time. Now we're talking about a guy who you've probably seen because this was one of the many monsters banished. Exactly for the sake of Hulk. And even then, saw some recurrence in the post-Hulk years anyway.
Shit.
Because he was also a level 1 fire.
Oh, right.
It is Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron.
Yeah. Yep, Jet Synchron.
Yep, Jet.
Yep, Jet.
This is a level 1 fire machine, so makes sense. He's got a pretty good design because he's got like a little face on him, but also he's a jet engine with arms and legs. He keeps the little. Sorry, that was a yawn. I didn't stifle. Keeps the little mascot guy type effect.
Yeah. However, I've seen this guy a lot.
Yeah.
Good.
This.
How many times I've seen this asshole?
This is unfortunately a guy who, like, I think out of all the Synchron monsters, became the most accessible for a lot of reasons. Jet Synchron, like I said, is a level 1 fire machine tuner. 500 attack, 0 defense. If this card's sent to the graveyard as a synchro summon, add a junk monster from your deck to your hand. That doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that one. The other effect is if this card's in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use one effect per turn and only once that turn. But basically, this guy's a level 1 fire. He is a tuner, which means there was a lot of stuff you could do with Hulk setups. So you could link him off for Hulk, or summon him out with Hulk and link climb, and then bring him back to Synchro, or just to make more link material. He's a level 1 fire, so he was searchable with original Sinful Spoils. That's an engine we haven't really talked about yet on Failed Portrayal, but will someday soon. But just an annoying little guy who ended up in a lot of different decks because of his stat line and the fact that while he is a hard once, he's just a free extender. He's a level 1 tuner who comes back.
Yeah, he's pretty much the main card for why Snake Eye could play both Borals, Load Savage Dragon, and Barone.
Yeah, because the original Snake Eye deck could literally make infinite materials, so they could make a format Apo, they could make Barone really easy, they could make
and also Formula, and then they can just revive Borlos, Savage Dragon, go back to Barone just to restart the Barone's once per on field effect.
Yeah, because Barone's bounce effect is like people don't use it too much, but if you can make it work, it's actually quite good because it resets Barone. But I bet you guys don't know. Well, actually, some of the people in chat probably know, but many people will not know. There's a Jet Warrior. There was a Warrior form of Jet Synchron.
I remember there being one. I remember not being that impressive.
Yeah, it does not have the same longevity that Jet does. And unfortunately, spoilers, he's a level 5 Fire Warrior Synchro who requires Jet Synchron. So, despite the fact that he came out in 2015 in the structure deck, they made him unquick launchable. Like, honestly, I think that's the only reason why this card's not seen more is he requires Jet Synchron, and he's, I think, clearly meant to be kind of like a retrain or a revamp of Junk Warrior. Aesthetically, he looks cool. like he's still got the jet engine, but he's got like more advanced machine eyes. I like if old school Junk Warrior was supposed to be like a biplane type guy, or maybe a simpler plane. This guy's much more advanced, you know, but he's still got a lot of the same features. Got the same dark color palette. So like, it's cool, but
right, because it's cool design, but also yeah.
He's a level 5. He has 2100 attack and 1200 defense. If this card's Synchro Summon, target a card your opponent controls, returns to the hand. If this card's in your graveyard, you contribute a level 2 or lower monster to special summon this card in defense, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. On paper, this should be good, but the fact that he requires Jet Synchron really, I think, kills his utility.
Yeah, plus this card was pretty much just, dead until they had more synchro substitute monsters.
Yeah, no. So, like, obviously when Jet Synchron was banned, you couldn't summon this guy at all.
Yeah, and
but, like, in general, I think they played a little too close to the vest, and nowadays, the extra deck, if you're playing Junks or Synchrons or any combination of them, is so fucking tight because you absolutely have more than 15 good names. There's no point to do that.
Oh, that's 2015.
We do have a couple of weird non-tuner but Synchron-related guys. First is Rush Warrior, looking like a fucking JoJo stand.
Yeah, I was just double-checking to see when certain cards came out for Synchron materials. Apparently, Jet Warrior came out at the same time as Junk Anchor and, just Junk Anchor.
Yeah, I believe Junk Anchor was in the structure deck as well.
Yeah.
But Rush Warrior, like I said, looks like a JoJo stand. This should be the stand named Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah. This looks very much like a villain stand.
I don't hate it, but it looks very strange compared to some of the other... Like, it's not outside the aesthetics of some of the other guys we've seen, but it's definitely just kind of like... I don't know anything about what this guy does from this card
This
art.
does feel like a stand that would be in, like, not in, like, the newer not in, like, in the newer continuity, but, like, as, like, one of, like, those new stories that are, like, showing further the timeline of the old continuity.
Yeah. Rush Warrior is a Wind Warrior level 2. It's not a tuner, because he's not a Synchron. He has 300 attack and 1200 defense. During damage calc, if a Warrior Synchro monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you can, quick effect, send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Your monster becomes double its attack during damage calc only. So it's honest for Synchro Warriors.
Yeah, it's like,
you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Synchron in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Again, for 2015, not terrible, but, like, Synchro Warriors probably didn't need an archetype honest, and you already have lots of ways to get Synchrons out of the graveyard, so he's just kind of a card that's, like, doesn't have a home because you don't need him. You have other ways you can do this stuff. But I appreciate the effort. This probably would have been playable in 2015.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're just weird.
Yeah.
That's my only thought.
Now, a guy who is looks much more in the field of our Synchron friends. This is Synchron Carrier, Synchron Carrier, which I think is supposed to be kind of a revamp of Synchron Explorer. Definitely looks like he fits in more with the Synchrons because he's got weird little tread feet.
It's like an oil. It makes me think of like an oil rigger, or just a rigger.
I would think of honestly first tow truck is probably or a large crane.
The orange and yellow here. Yeah, just with the orange and yellow here, sort of reminds me of some of the joint tech monsters from Rush, because they're also sort of orange and yellow. But it's just like not terrible like colors.
No, he works together. But Synchron Carrier is a level 2 Earth Machine, 0 attack, 1000 defense. During your main phase, you can normal summon a Synchron in addition to your normal summoner set. You only gain this effect once per turn. If another Synchron monster sent to your graveyard as Synchro material for a Warrior or Machine Synchro, while you control this card, special summon a Synchron Token, a level 2 Earth Machine token. So you can use this effect once per turn. This guy's good. Like, honestly, this guy's probably still makes the cut in some Synchron decks because he gives you an extra normal. And he's a level 2 who can be special summoned in a variety of ways. And if he's on the board when you synchro a warrior or machine monster, you get a token. Tokens are good. So very playable, very playable. And now we kind of have our revamp of Formula Synchron, a guy that you guys have probably seen a lot of because he's a very good card. Axel Synchron.
Ah, this one.
Yes, one of the core boys. This was printed first in the structure deck.
Alright, this guy.
So Axel Synchron is, remember how Formula was just a man who was also a Formula 1 car? This guy's just a bike. Bike man.
It's
bike.
just a transformer.
Yeah, basically.
It just uses his bike colors.
I mean, it's not quite a transformer because
like,
his arms and legs are like
parts.
way too big to fold up into the motorcycle, but...
Well, no, it's because I think they make the dual runner. I think they make the surrounding bit or something.
Okay, so this was
No.
Oh, it showed up in the OCE structures. Okay.
I mean, Synchron is a structured deck. It should be in the manga. So Axel Synchron is a Doc Machine Synchro Tuner, level 5. 500 attack, 2100 defense. Completely generic. Once per turn, send a Synchron monster from your deck to your graveyard, then activate one of the following effects. Increase this card's level by that monster, decrease that card's level by that monster. And during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect Synchro Summon. Using this card you control. You can only Axel Synchron once per turn. Great card. A card that still makes the cut to this day. Because it is a Synchro Tuner who can level fix and Foolish Burial. And he does the formula thing where you can Synchro on your opponent's turn if you need to do that for some reason.
Yeah.
He is also a Dark Synchro Tuner. Again, for setups. So, like, this card's great. This card's been great for a long time.
Get into all those all those monsters that need a Dark Tuner.
Yeah. Wow, I lost 2 sodas.
No, it's the same one. I just closed the lid because it's a bottle.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
you closed it and it repressurized. All right.
Yeah, my bad.
Lost has the ability to repressurize.
I don't really have anything else to say about Axel. He's a great card for very obvious reasons. Let's talk about instead, what if we made Stardust Dragon into a man?
Right, yeah.
Sorry, Lon, did you have something to say about Axel Synchron?
I had never known that he was the bike, but the front wheel was his crotch. That's...
We learn a lot when these guys are blown up. Anyway, Stardust Warrior. It's literally just Stardust Dragon, but a robot. That's what he is.
So,
Despite being a warrior, by the way, not a machine.
It's cool.
It's neat. We've added some extra colors to Stardust Dragon's color palette. I don't like the gold highlights.
Did you say Stardust Warrior, by the way?
Yeah, this is just Stardust Warrior.
Yeah, it's basically just like, hey, remember Junk Warrior? So we made that a Stardust Dragon.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of the Synchrons become Synchro Warriors.
Yeah, but it's just keeping on with that theme of like, well, you say, you know what I mean.
We've bridged Stardust and Warrior.
Yeah.
And then they did that a couple more times with different Stardust Warriors, but this is the original one. Pitchable Waste Warrior #1. It's true. No, I mean, it's because Stardust Dragon's super skinny, but yeah. This guy's just Mecha Stardust Dragon. I don't really have much else to say about that. This is a Wind Warrior Synchro 10. 3k attack, 2500 defense. And unfortunately, the reason why you never saw this fucking guy, 1 tuner synchro monster, 1 non-tuner synchro monster, or 1 plus non-tuner synchro monsters.
Yeah, this is like your win more kind of situation.
Yeah. Is that because it requires a synchro tuner? Is that Axel synchro, or is that like clear over? I don't remember. It's one of the special synchro summoning types.
It's I think this one would be Delta XL Synchro.
Delta XL, yeah.
Because then the over top clear mine is the over top XL Synchro is the one with like 2 or more non-tuner synchro monsters.
Yeah. So he does have some tricky mats. That said, its effects are kind of good, so I think there was some space for this guy. Just these days, there are way better 10 synchros that don't require you to use 2 synchro monsters to make him. If your opponent would special summon a monsters, tribute this card, negate the summon, and if you do destroy those monsters, so it's Solemn Warning on legs. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and wasn't negated, special summon this card from your graveyard. So also, like Stardust Dragon, he has a Solemn Warning who reborns himself.
Okay, so I was wrong about what.
It's not Delta?
Well,
which one is it?
It apparently is. Apparently, this one is like. I think this one just might be X.
Just might be XL if you use a synchro.
Yeah, it just might be XL Synchro because it's just because XL Synchro needs a synchro and a synchro and a synchro tuner and non-synchro tuner.
This guy also says, God forbid if he's destroyed by battle, or if this face-up card leaves your field because of an opponent's effect, you can special summon a level 8 or lower warrior synchro monster from your extra deck, which is treated as a synchro summon. So he floats into any warrior. So honestly, like I said, this guy was probably pretty strong back in the day. The main thing I would say is just that, like, okay, so Formula Synchron plus Stardust Dragon makes Stardust Warrior. Cool. He floats if he's destroyed. That's very nice. Or if he's removed in any way. And he is a Solemn Strike with legs. You can just play Solemn Strike? You can just play Summon Negates? Like, I think mainly it's just the fact that he's 2 Synchro monsters as material. Puts him in a weird case where he's a little too annoying to summon. People did summon him, but like Axe said earlier, I think it becomes more of a win more card.
Alright, so... Yeah, so this is exactly probably the level 10 counterpart to Shooting Star Dragon in a way. Because it also has the same sort of synchro sort of materials.
But like I said, they did make some more Stardust Warriors, one of which you absolutely know. The first one, chronologically, though this did come out in 2016, was Stardust Charge Warrior.
Yes, this was the 2000.
This guy looks a lot more, I want to say, like almost like Toku adjacent, because he looks a lot more like a man wearing a suit. Like he just has normal human legs.
Oh God!
Look at those things sticking out. It's sort of like you borrow some of the hero aesthetics too.
Like I can kind of see it looks like Stardust Warrior, just like his wings just like morph downwards, but it just looks weird.
The wings are a little too complex for my taste. Yes, they've got like lots of extra little bits. I'm not quite sure what we're going on there. I do like the color scheme a little better because there's less gold. That helmet's still a little ridiculous to put Stardust Dragon's head on a man. But this guy is a great card. Like genuinely, this is a really good card though. Because Charge Warrior is a level 6 Wind Warrior Synchro with 2,000 attack and 1,300 defense. It's completely generic 6. When this card's Synchro summoned, draw a card, just like Formula Synchron. You can only use this effect once per turn, so you can't loop it like Formula Synchron or Hybrid Librarian, but it's still good. And this card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. So he can clear a board and lets you draw a card.
Yeah, so this was... Right, it's a manga card just for a special run of for 5Ds.
Just a very, very solid guy. I'm not super familiar with Aquarion, but I'll take your word for it. This is a pendulum, so he'll be a little stretched out. This is a pendulum monster, but it did not come out until 2017. But it's time, chat. It's the guy. Performapal, Odd Eyes, Synchron.
Because, of course, I think this is only... Is this one card that has the most archetypes it's in?
Possibly? Because he is straight up 3 archetypes. Yeah, this is the first case where Konami realized that because Synchrons were always kind of like just generic little guys, and the fact that like Sherry had a Synchron in the anime, they realized that, like, wait, what if just anybody could have a Synchron?
I need to get going, so I just want to know how many days left before I get to go.
Unfortunately, still a lot. There's still like 12. Yeah, there's like 12 or 13 of these guys left. All of which released in like the past 10 years at least.
Okay, so there's been like 30 of these guys. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Well, I gotta go. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Night,
I might come back. We'll see how it goes. Probably not though.
I don't know if we'll be on that much longer because we are over the hump.
You could probably just part 2 this, I guess.
Okay, so
I think we've been streaming for like 2 hours. We'll keep going.
I guess this card was used in the anime.
Yes. I also assumed that it was in the anime because Yuya was a U and not a Yusei,
yeah,
so they
let
it
I think
do a
was
little
used
funny.
as was part of the final series of duels. I think this was his like third duel against Jack, and he was just like, I'm now listening to my dragons and making them friends with me.
So, I don't really have a lot to say about how he looks because he's just a weird little guy. He's the weirdest, littlest guy. He truly is a Performapal, and Odd Eyes, and a Synchron.
Okay.
Loth, is there anything you'd like to say?
I remember seeing this guy and just going, what the fuck is this thing?
Okay.
His effect is weird and confusing, and just trying to get it to work can sometimes be either too much for me to handle because I'm stupid, or B, too much of a fucking mess.
He's a weird guy. So, Performapal Odd Eyes Synchron is a dog spellcaster pendulum tuner effect monster. Level 2, pendulum scale 6. 200 attack, 600 defense. Pendulum effect. Once per turn, target a Performapal or Odd Eyes monster you control. This turn, that monster is a tuner, and it becomes level 1, even if this card leaves the field. Crazy unhinged pendulum effect. Any of your Odd Eyes or Performapal monsters are now level 1 tuners. Monster effect. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, if this card special summoned from the extra deck is used as synchro material, banish it. So basically letting you know that if you reborn this monster via pendulum summon, it gets banished. When this card is normal summon, target a level 3 or lower Performapal or Odd Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Very junk Synchron-esque. Once per turn, target a card in your pendulum zone, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon a synchro monster using only this monster and that card.
Yeah.
crazy. This guy does like 4 things, all of which are pretty good. Not good in Synchron decks, really, though it is searchable, obviously, but lets you access any synchro strategies you would like with Performer Power Odd Eyes really well. Again, it's Pendulum Scale effect to just fucking turn any Performer Power Odd Eyes into a level 1 tuner for a turn is unhinged.
Yeah.
Like, you chat don't need me to tell you how crazy good that is. Oh, we may have to part 2 this if this doesn't clean up really good. I just got a Cloudflare error on Wikipedia. Okay, so I can access their main page. Was it just a brief outage? It might be. They have been like really laggy tonight, so their servers might be a little scrunkled. But we'll see if we can get a link for our next guy, which is, again, we are now at the point where Konami is just fucking doing anything. Because our next guy is, okay, he did load. The next monster is going to be Cyber's Synchron. So, we already proved with Performer Power Odd Eyes Synchron that Synchrons can be anything. He's a spellcaster.
Yeah.
So now, with Cyber Synchron, we have a Cybers. I'm going to check the trivia page, but I'm going to guess this is the first and only Cyber Synchron monster. Might be the first... I guess if the trivia page doesn't say it, he's probably not the first the Cybers tuner.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot this fucker.
Oh, yeah, no, this is another card that's good. It just probably doesn't see as much because Cybers doesn't usually go for synchro plays.
Yeah.
But they have a few decks that can. And certainly, Cyber Synchron equips them with a good one. And that is, Cyber's Synchron is a Dark Cyber's Tuner, level 1, 100/100. Once per turn, target a level 4 or lower monster you control, increase its level by its original level till the end of this turn. Just double a level 4 or lower monster's level. If a monster in your EMZ would be destroyed by battle or card effect, banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use this effect once per turn. Phenomenal fucking effect for a Cyber's Tuner. It's dark, it's level 1. It can level modulate. And, yeah. Also, its protection effect, super annoying.
Yeah, no, it is pretty fucking annoying.
Alright, so now we're going to try and slowly work our way to our next card. So, they didn't... 2 Stardust Warriors wasn't enough, so we added 1 more. This is Stardust Assault Warrior. He has a Neos head now, and he's got 2 huge pile bunkers for some reason, which are also literally screwdriver heads. He's got a Phillips and a flathead. I don't know why.
Pile drivers.
He does show up in the Dermonger.
Alright, also not special.
Assault Warrior is basically like Charge Warrior, but different. He's level 6. He's 2100 attack again, 1200 defense, completely generic. Is still also a Wind Warrior. When this card is Synchro summoned while you control no other monsters, target a junk monster in your graveyard, special summon him back. You can use this effect once per turn. And if this card attacks a defense position monster, do piercing.
Yeah.
Not as good as Charge.
Yeah. Makes sense that they made it only be a junk monster because the manga effect it just says any tuner.
Yeah, I think by the time this card came out in 2018, this was a tin promo. They finally printed him after not being printed for forever. They definitely did that because if it was just any tuner and controlled no monsters, broken.
Yeah, it says when Synchro summoned, you can special summon one tuner monster from the graveyard. It's like piercing damage. Yeah. And the regular effect is when you no other monsters. Yeah. Definitely broken.
So give me a sec to set both of these up, but technically these are two cards we need to talk about. But these are cards you may have seen before. I think pre some of the newer support, the two cards, which I'm trying to pull up, the second card art, Lefty Driver, were like pretty common in brews for a while, in Synchron related brews. I feel like they've kind of fallen out of favor. I don't think I've seen lefty and righty in deck lists for a while.
Oh, right, lefty, right. I don't think I've seen them at all.
Cards also taken from the manga. But these were definitely, for reasons we'll get into in a sec, definitely, like, I saw them in some Synchron brewing. Yeah, and Zed just mentioned that they were in Yusei's manga deck as well. Yeah.
With our powers combined, we form two pile bunkers.
But also screwdrivers.
And screwdrivers, yeah. But...
So, Righty Driver is a level 1 machine Earth tuner. 100 attack, 300 defense. For a Synchro summon, you can use it to be any Synchron tuner, which is great because it's level 1. If Righty Driver is normal, you can special Lefty from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use that effect once per turn. Lefty Driver is a level 2 Earth machine, 300 attack, 100 defense. When special summoned, you can make it become level 3 instead of level 2. And during your main phase, except during the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard to add Righty Driver from your deck to your hand. You're going to use this effect once per turn. So these guys just, a free special, like become 2 mats. Don't actually, make any of the Synchron warriors right out the gate, because they're, level 1 and level 2 respectively, or 3, so you can make Armory Arm. But I do think I recall, like I said, there was some thought throughout the Link era. First of all, these are just 2 free mats for Link materials. Like, literally free Link 2 type card. A free Hulk, when Hulk was legal.
Yeah. Right.
Because Righty is a tuner. And is a level 1 tuner and then a level 2, like, it's just free materials, so you could also use it for synchro plays. But Righty and Lefty were just, like I said, we're part of a certain era of deck building that is just not around anymore. You just don't use these cards this way.
Yeah, just looking at these cards, I actually listed a card that these cards appear in for just the manga, which is a card that could be printed in the game without breaking anything because it's a very mediocre effect.
Well, it'll probably be in an animation chronicle someday.
It says negate battle damage to recover 800 life points. The card's name, Junk Prepare Heal.
Next, talking about guys that jump archetypes. This guy you fucking know. We'll talk about how Rocket works in depth at some point, because it is an anime archetype that's also super popular. But Rocket Synchron, it's a guy you've seen.
Yeah, look at this little guy.
Yeah, I've seen that guy.
He's a little robot dragon with a bullet head. He is this is absolutely what rockets look like if you've never seen them. And also is kind of Synchron adjacent because he is just a little guy.
Yeah, the funny thing is with this guy, well, of course, it's summoned by Revolver, but also Revolver, when he does the synchro summoning thing, he puts his hands forward like he's riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, very funny stuff. But like I said, you've probably seen this card before, because Rocket Synchron is a Dark Dragon tuner level 1/0/0.
Yeah.
So like very good for some stuff. But also, hey, when this card's normal summon, target a level 5 or higher Dark Dragon in your graveyard, special summon it, negate its effects, destroy it during the end phase. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Dark. This guy actually has seen a lot of play. In certain brews of Dragon Link, they actually played Red Eyes, like vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragon, because that's a level 7, so it makes an 8, which means you can make Borreload Savage Dragon off Rocket Synchron. And it's very, very easy to send Red Eyes Black Dragon to the graveyard.
Yeah. I think, what did Volver use?
Probably Noctovision Dragon?
Yeah, I think that's probably the one.
Because Noctovision is also a level 7 Dark Dragon who can free special himself sometimes.
Yeah, I'll just double check that.
So like I said, Rocket Synchron is like obviously meant to go in the Rocket engine, but again, it's a Dark Dragon tuner. You know, it's got synergy, so they set him up a little. All right, moving on to our next one. We have another very modern guy. Though let me double check. No, there's no appearances, so I think this guy's completely original. So we just came up with a new guy, Satellite Synchron.
Oh, the Curry special sounds with Speed Burst Dragon.
Speed Burst. Makes sense. Obviously, the name Satellite Synchron works as a 5Ds reference.
Yeah.
And also, he is a satellite.
Yep. Just a satellite.
He's a little satellite man. That's a Synchron for you.
This guy would find it impossible to sit down anywhere.
That's okay. I think the way his knees are, he doesn't need to sit.
Right, so there's...
Satellite Synchron. Dark Tuner Machine, level 2, 700 attack, 100 defense. If a monsters, special summon from your graveyard, except during the damage step, special summon this card from your hand. If you have a Synchro monster with Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust in its original name on your field or graveyard, you can make this card level 4. You can use each effect once per turn. So this guy's basically like a reverse, Road Synchron in a good way. This card was printed in, 2020 in Magical Hero, one of the Legendary Duelist packs. A very good card for the time. That's also the same set Magician's Souls was printed in. Not enough to really make the Synchron Warrior Stardust type deck come together, but Konami's really trying, and it's still a decent card. It's a very free special summon.
Yeah, an attempt was made.
Yep.
Yeah, actually one did. I think it was the same time, but we'll check out Satellite Warrior. Yeah, this card art looks newer.
2020.
Yeah, it was 2020. So I wouldn't say it's fair to say they made it to give Satellite Warrior a counterpart. They were released in the same set, so they actually remembered to double these up. But yeah, Satellite Warrior is a warrior who's a satellite. I don't know. There's not a lot else to say there, but he's good though. He doesn't have a lot of the problems that the others have. I don't know why his shoulder blades are 2 halves of an atom bomb, but other than that, he's good. It's probably a rocket fairing. I guess if he folds up his arms and legs, he transforms into a rocket.
I thought it was meant to be like the shell of the satellite.
Yes, sorry. you probably would. I don't know if anybody watching would know that. That's what a fairing is the aerodynamic shell to a rocket or satellite is called a fairing. That's my beat. I assumed people would know that. Yeah, no,
I don't.
It looks like a bomb with the way it's split up, but yes, it is supposed to be a covering for the satellite, because I think when he folds up his arms and legs, he becomes a rocket. And he's got satellite X-wings. It's looking pretty cool. And so Satellite Warrior is a level 10 Dark Warrior Synchro, 2500 attack, 2k defense. This guy, I think, is a much better attempt at what they were doing with Stardust Warrior, because he is not an Axel. He is just completely generic. Generic 10. Honestly, I think this is probably one of the best generic 10s before they printed Barone. If this card's Synchro Summon, target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Synchro monsters in your graveyard. Destroy them. If you do, this card gains 1000 attack. If the Synchro Summon card is destroyed, summon up to 3 level 8 or lower Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust monsters with different names. Synchro monsters, I should say, with different names from your graveyard. You can use each effect once per turn. So still kind of a win more card because it wants you to have a lot of guys in your graveyard, but like a much more dramatic effect in that he blows up cards, and if he's removed, he can float into up to 3 large guys from your graveyard with different names.
Yeah, so... Alright. If you have Stardust plus formula, you can just bring those out and think there's Shooting Star.
So pretty solid guy. And then in Dawn of Majesty, about a year later in 2021, Konami was like, shit, Satellite Warrior wasn't enough. We need more. We want to make Stardust cool. So they finally did the thing that's the most obvious thing in the world. Stardust Synchron.
Yeah. If you have a Stardust Warrior.
Made the Stardust into the
that fucking tiny guy. Me.
He's just a little. He's a little robot version of Stardust Dragon.
I prefer this over Stardust Warrior.
I mean, he's a lot cuter because he's a Synchron. Yeah.
Yeah, and he also doesn't have like weird human parts. He's just
a little robot.
A humanoid-shaped, humanoid-shaped robot dragon.
Yeah.
So, funnily enough, Stardust Synchron is a light machine tuner, not a wind. But he's level 4. He's got 1500 attack and 1000 defense, which is like great. If this card's in your hand or your graveyard, you can tribute a monster to special summon this card to banish it when it leaves the field. You can't special summon for the rest of this turn except Synchros. They're counteracting a lot of the even though I'm pretty sure Hulk was banned in both formats by now, they're countering a lot of bullshit for it. If this card's normal or special, add a spell trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Stardust Dragon. You can use each effect once per turn.
It's so funny that it's like, we need to work around Hulk, but we won't ban it.
I do think they did have it banned by this point in both formats, but it's one of those things of just like, we're building out we realize that certain generic plays are bad. And Hulk was not banned for fucking forever in Master Duel. I'm pretty sure we've talked about Stardust Trail before, because we did talk about like Stardust Dragons. But these cards do like exactly go together, so we're gonna pull up Stardust Trail again.
Right, this one.
What if Stardust Dragon was a woman?
Okay.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy type shit. Both great looking cards for different reasons. Stardust Trail is a light dragon level 4. She's got 500 attack and 2k defense. The main reason why we're throwing her out here, though she is related to Synchrons as well, she goes together very well with Stardust Synchron because her effect is if a monster you control is tributed, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. So, Trail summons herself if you use Stardust Synchron's effect to summon itself. I think you may even be able to tribute her, and that puts her in the graveyard, and then you resolve the summoning of Stardust Synchron, and then you can start a new chain with Trail, but don't quote me on that one. But also, just in general, if she's in your hand, you can summon any fucking asshole and tribute them for Stardust Synchron and summon Trail. If a warrior, synchron, or Stardust synchro monster is synchro summoned using this card as material, special summon a Stardust token, a level 1 light dragon token. You can only use each effective Stardust Trail once per turn. AKA, this card is, you're supposed to do Stardust Synchron and Stardust Trail to summon Stardust Dragon, make a level 1 token. With the spell trap you searched off of Stardust Synchron, you are supposed to get the retrain of the Wishing Dragon. I can't remember what the new one is called. It's a Converging Wishes Dragon is the new is the retrain.
Crystron Helka Fiber Axe. It was still legal until 2022 in the TC.
Jesus. Okay, so yeah, so Stardust Synchron was
but then afterwards banned. And then meanwhile the OCG they immediately limited before that.
Crazy.
Before it got to like.
But yeah, basically Stardust. If you have Trail and Synchron in your hand, that's basically and you have any monster to summon and tribute. This just is a like not a 1-card combo, but basically those 2 cards together instantly becomes the retrain of Shooting Star Dragon. Because you get the Wish Converging Dragon and all that shit.
Right, the second card to the right just looks like I bring you a gift, murder.
So it's cool. It's a cool combo. It didn't really make Stardust any better as a deck. So that means what does that mean, chat? If we're Konami and we're trying to do legacy support for a deck and the deck's not good, what do, chat? We keep printing support, more Synchrons. Next, Assault Synchron. I love this little guy because he's like a stealth fighter jet and also a little man. I don't know why I keep consistently accidentally putting that slightly higher.
His face.
It's like, don't dare me. I can go faster than you can go.
Don't fuck with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side.
But he's got like a little gas mask face. He's got a little scarf. He's got the fucking glasses. It's good. This is a good card art. Assault Synchron is a Dark Machine Tuner, level 2, 700 attack, 0 defense. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then take 700 damage. But while this card's face up in the monster zone, you can't special summon except Synchro monsters. If a face-up Dragon Synchro monster you control is tributed or banished, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of those monsters, special summon it. You use each effect once per turn. It's just a funny little guy. He, once again, is a free special during your main phase, and I love that he just lets you return your dragons that banish themselves for their effects instantly.
Yeah.
And also, I love the if tributed, so, like, let's say you've built one of those, like, towers-type dragons, like one of those big synchro guys that's fucking unoutable. Your opponent kaijus him, you go, okay, cool, Assault Synchron, summon him back.
Yep. Fuck you.
Yeah. Also, little detail just now noticed thanks to the trivia thing. It has black feathers around it.
I think that would make sense because there's the Assault Blackwing and Blackwing Assault Dragon. Like Assault is a name used a lot.
Yeah.
And it looks like a SR-71 Blackbird because Crow called his dual runner Blackbird. So like there's some synergy. I think this was actually in because the set was oh no, it's Monstrous Revenge. So I don't think it was directly a there was a Blackwing themed set during this time period, but it wasn't there. But like we're doing a little bit of overlap.
Oh yeah, and it has the 700 burn damage.
Yeah.
So
which would
Blackwing.
Blackwings would negate with counters and stuff. So it's like a cute little crossover. Speaking of which, Necrosynchron. It's Fleur Synchron, but he's dead.
Yep.
Because there was a plant tuner called Defleur Necron, I think. Necron Defleur?
Ooh!
Yeah, Dead Flower.
This is the second villain of the Plant Machine Empire.
Just looking at his face, just like the mouth, like, ooh.
Yeah.
This is the where everyone tries to set up traps and be all creepy.
Now this may shock you, but this is a Dark Machine tuner. Level 2. 200 attack, 400 defense. First of all, hey, remember how to make Chevalier you needed Fleur Synchron? Fuck you. This card's name becomes Fleur Synchron while on the field or in the graveyard.
Just like, oh yeah, what was it, like Paint Smasher for Plague Spread?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can target one other face-up monster you control, increase its level by 2 until the end of this turn. If this card is sent for the Synchro 2 of a Wind Synchro, special summon a level 1 plant from your deck, which is obviously supposed to be the Necron Defleur. So I think what you're supposed to do here, chat, is you're supposed to use Necro Synchron to make Chevalier, and then, or maybe even a 9 Synchro, and then special summon a level 1 plant so you can go into Barone. Nobody did that shit. Nobody did any of that shit. Because Barone was completely generic.
Yeah. Like, why would you even bother?
So Necrosynchron has never seen play, basically. There's no reason to run it except to make Chevalier Defleur, and then it's like, why are you making Chevalier? You can make Barone. Only now you can't make Barone, but Chevalier is bad. Yeah, Necrofleur.
Yeah. Never ended.
Alright, we're still loading the next tabs. But we're getting close. I think I'll skip. I had listed here a couple of spell traps, but if we ever do a junk episode, we can probably throw those in. It is almost 11 o'clock over here.
Yeah.
And I have some other stuff to do, but I kind of want to see what's going on in the Crow chat right now. Seems like we're doing some 14 things. But make sure I got this guy copied correctly. It's time for the little guy I mentioned. Revolution Synchron.
Oh, right.
Which, if you don't know, Revolution Synchron is for Power Tool. He's like, honestly, he should probably be called Power Tool Synchron, but they do mention Revolution in the chant for Lifestream Dragon, so they called him Revolution Synchron.
I mean, he looked adorable.
Oh, he's great. He's just a little guy.
Look at that tiny little power bunker he's got.
Right, oh.
Yeah. So this is definitely the setup for like Power Tool Dragon, but also incorporating Lifestream Dragon. This is an Earth Machine Tuner, level 3, 900 attack, 1400 defense. If you Synchro Summon a Power Tool monster or a level 7 or 8 Dragon monster, you can use this card in your hand as material. You can only use this effect once per turn. If you control a level 7 or higher Synchro monster, while this card's in your graveyard, send the top card of your graveyard deck to the graveyard, sorry. If you do special summon it, its level becomes 1. You can use each effect once per duel. You can use this effect once per duel. So basically, it gives you a way to make Lifestream Dragon, ideally, and also a lot of other synchros. This is a card that's interesting to me because I remember when this card was shown, a lot of people thought this would be like a high-level, like high-tiered deck. Either with like the new Power Tool retrain, like Braver Dragon or some other stuff. That deck never really materialized, but it is an Earth Machine tuner.
Yeah.
And he does have a hand effect when making Power Tools or Synchro Dragons, which are super common.
Yeah, I feel like they sort of missed something, like putting like Revolution Morphtronic Synchron.
If this guy was also a Morphtronic, he'd probably be like genuinely, if he was just called Morphtronic Synchron, he would probably be like really good to that deck, but they've already got a lot of tuners.
Yeah.
But we can always have more.
You can never have enough.
Telephone.
Well, I guess now for like things now it's just like smartphone.
No, we went back in time. We have a regular telephone now.
Oh, right. Oh, we went back.
Hey, remember how Axel Synchron was just the dual runner but a guy? Well, also in Dune, in Duelist Nexus, Wheel Synchron.
This is just referencing when the
what the fuck is this guy?
the three emperors of the mysterious time cult place just combined with her dual runners.
Oh, I should technically have put. I completely forgot him because he's not in here, but he's from 2019. Let me grab his full art as well. There is a warrior who also is kind of like themed off this guy, but isn't called Wheel Warrior. There's Signal Warrior came out in like 2019. My bad, Chad. He didn't have a Synchron counterpart. I thought I got all the warriors, but we've probably missed a couple. Anyway, I need to go back to Wheel Synchron. But Wheel Synchron is very clearly based off of Yusei's Dual Runner as well. And like I said, this card's 2 years old, by the way. This has been out for 2 years. This is a light machine tuner, level 5, 800 attack, 1000 defense. If this card you control is used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. So it's a tuner, it can be a non-tuner. That's pretty good for a 5. You can use each of the following effects of Wheel Synchron once per turn. During your main phase, you can, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a level 4 lower monster. You can't special summon from the extra deck for this turn except synchros. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a synchro you control, reduce its level by up to 4.
Yeah. Wow.
Again, does really good stuff, but, like, doesn't fundamentally make the deck better.
Yeah.
Like, you already have a million gazillion guys you can summon. This guy doesn't even have an inherent special summon effect. He has a Synchron, he has a machine, he's a tuner, so, like, there's ways to get him out there, but he's a level 5, so it's, I don't know, it's a little oddball to me.
Okay.
He's just got a lot of interesting utility.
Yeah, that was an interesting trivia. But it was never mentioned in the anime. But Yusei's dual runner is called Yusei Go, and Go can reference to 5.
Yep, Go is one of the words for 5.
But don't know why it wasn't.
So this is the card I talked about that was I should have mentioned earlier, but forgot. I forgot. This is Signal Warrior. This is a light warrior synchro. This is just the Yusei Go. Yeah, Yusei's dual runner, but a man, and he has 2 swords now.
Two.
This is a level 7 synchro warrior. 2400 attack, 1000 defense. Completely generic. One tuner, one or more non-tuners. Once per turn during the standby phase, place a signal counter on each face-up card in the field zone and put one on this card. Cards with signal counters can't be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. Once per turn, you can remove 4, 7, or 10 signal counters from anywhere on the field. Apply this effect based on the number removed. 4, inflict 8 to your opponent. 7, draw 1 card. 10, destroy 1 card on the field. This is obviously a reference to speed counters and speed spells.
Yeah. Speed World 2.
Yeah. Yeah, literally based on the effects of not Marth, similar Earth names, as was just mentioned. It's still a little slow because like the original Speed World does speed counters.
Yeah,
as does like they haven't printed Speed World 2.
It gains a counter during every standby phase.
Yes, Signal Warrior does as well.
And I think also Speed World 2 allows you just to be like, hey, I reveal 5 speed spell cards, do you 4,000 damage.
Yeah, so like it's a cute concept, but not really good enough to bring the deck forward. Like I said, that's why he's probably forgotten, but it's a level 7. But obviously, since Barone kind of stole Speedroid's Jimmy's in that Duelist pack.
Yeah.
we have to add more cards. So let me see if I can get a full art of this guy, because this card's not in Master Duel yet. He literally just came out this year. Okay, this isn't the extended art, but we'll go with it, because this is another Pendulum Synchron.
Get all of those.
Because this is Speedroid Wing Synchron.
I'm going to guess it looks like clear wing.
Yeah.
Yep. It's chibi clear wing.
Yeah. Following in the format of guys, Synchron guys who are just little dragons, little robot dragons. Speedroid Wing Synchron. This is a wind machined pendulum tuner, level 5, pendulum scale 4, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. Once per turn, the pendulum effect, sorry, I should say. Once per turn, you can destroy this card and one level 2 wind pendulum monster in your pendulum zone. If you do, special summon Clearwing Synchro Dragon from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon for the rest of this turn. Cards in your pendulum zone can't be destroyed by card effects, but you can't special summon except wind monsters. So yeah, just synchro summon from the pend zone, but by destroying. Make Clearwing. Monster effect. If this card's added to your extra deck face up and you control 2 or more different wind synchro monsters, or 2 different types of wind synchro monsters, send a Speedroid spell trap from your deck to your graveyard. You're going to use this effect once per turn.
Yeah.
I just noticed.
Yeah.
6 little fingers.
Yeah, because he's based on Clearwing.
Clearwing has 6?
I'm pretty sure Clearwing's got fucked up hands.
No, okay.
Yeah, it probably does.
This is a card that, like, I don't know enough about what Speedroid's doing to know. I don't think this is super good, because it mostly just makes Clearwing Synchro Dragon, but it does something.
Yeah, Clearwing Synchro Dragon has 6 fingers to each. Separated out by that little piercing thing that Clearwing Synchron also has.
Yep.
Just pointing it out.
Speedroid Synchron. Yeah. I just wanted to double check. Wait, what?
But yeah, that's where we are. Synchron is definitely got some long-standing strategy. Some of these cards are very strong, but it does kind of seem like they haven't really found the rhythm since like the Axel Synchron, kind of days. That said, they do just keep printing Synchrons that kind of just go in other archetypes, which is okay. If Synchron wants to be our way to do like a generic little guy who's a tuner, that's cool. That can be great.
Yeah. On another note, how the eye thing looks and whatnot on Speedroid Wing Synchron sort of reminds me of Metal Sonic in a way, just that sort of color and scheme.
And this is how his eyes kind of look. But that is going to wrap up the episode at about 2:49. Beetlebug hands. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Like I said, I wanted to do a cube, but we didn't. Loth wasn't here when I announced this.
About that.
It's okay. Like I said, I was pressed for time anyway because I was writing the Tiamat Wanted script to be ready. And like I said, hopefully Tiamat doesn't appear in 50 minutes because I'm sure my SEO will be fucked. But look forward to that, and probably be back to streaming 14 tomorrow because we only got a week before the patch, but it might be Vintage Story. I don't know. I'll probably be checking with Lucky soon. But next week, the poll winner is Fortune Fairies / Ladies. I thought it was going to be Resonator, but it is Fortune Fairies and Ladies.
Fortune Laddies.
So, yeah.
That would be fun.
God, red Synchron would also go pretty ham. So that will be next week's episode, and we'll probably be doing something on April Fool's. I'll figure out exactly what our plans are. But I'm going to let you guys go now because it's been here for like 250. Thanks, everybody, for supporting. Like I said, we got a Tiamat banner coming out for FGO, so, if you want to pitch in on Patreon or anything, consider it. Check out yesterday's stream. We played Halo 4. So
Was
we'll
it
be seeing
best
you guys next time.